say. Whether or not you think Charlie Kirk deserved it, we can certainly go into his accomplishments and things like that. Now, George Floyd, who had a lengthy criminal history, the argument would be made that he didn't deserve any award whatsoever. And of course, he didn't get any award. George Floyd has not been awarded anything. So it is what it is. But Charlie Kirk was not a criminal. Charlie Kirk did not have a criminal history, whereas George Floyd had done prison time and had a criminal history. But just because you have a criminal background does not mean you cannot be a martyr. By the way, when you look at how many times he was arrested, Martin Luther King had a criminal record. Dr. Martin Luther King, MLK, had a criminal history. I mean, he had been arrested numerous times, not for any violent crimes, I assume, but God knows what they were charging this guy with when he was popping up in towns and not following the law in the name of civil rights. So having a criminal not exclude you from becoming a martyr. But I do want to talk to you folks about it. And 33 times, is that right, Tammy? Tammy in the comments says, I think Martin Luther King was arrested 33 times. Wow. Nowadays, if you get arrested 33 times, even for misdemeanors, you're going to have people demanding you spend plenty of time in prison. Let's say, for instance, you're driving down the street at 2 a.m. and you're blasting your music. By the time you get around to the 15th, 20th time of doing that, and the police have pulled you over 15 times, there are going to be some people in your neighborhood that are going to start recommending you do a little bit of time in jail to make a point. So 33 times, that's a lot. I didn't know Martin Luther King was arrested that many times. Wow, 33 times. Anyway, but as we say, like I said, you don't have to be crime free to be a martyr. In the comments, Carolyn Evans says, how much did they pay you? Zero, Carolyn Evans. I appreciate your input, but zero, because I don't even know who the hell they are. Please define they. I don't know who they are. Give me, maybe that's some new pronoun you're using. You know how you got to get the pronoun straight. I don't have an LGBTQ flag to put up for you, but when you say they, let me know where you're getting the pronoun for. But anyway, continuing on with the program, you don't deserve to be killed either way, says Cawthorn, and I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%. Neither one of these men deserve to lose their life in any way, shape, or form. Neither one of these men deserve to lose their life. But oddly enough, if you think about the audience that favored Charlie Kirk or the audience that favored George Floyd, both of these audiences didn't really give a damn about how the other guy lost his life. What do I mean by that? The supporters of Charlie Kirk are not very concerned that George Floyd lost his life, and many other supporters of George Floyd don't really give a damn about how Charlie Kirk lost his life as well. But neither one of these individuals deserved what happened to them. There's no denying about that. There's neither one of them. Sterlo says screen blurry. I don't know if it's buffering for a minute. Give it a moment. I did switch over to Wi-Fi. TV. Wow, the Wi-Fi must be active. Let me know on TikTok and folks on these other platforms if you guys are seeing that. Let me just make sure I'm on Wi-Fi, because I don't know why it's blurry on this one device. But we'll see if it clears up. Charlie Kirk's death was horrifying in that crowd, and so was George Floyd's death. This has to stop, says Smith. Yeah, but I don't think the problem is I don't think it's going to stop on either side. I think you got a better chance of reduce. Well, I don't know. I don't. Let me not get ahead of myself. Because both of these deaths don't happen often. The police do not take the life of folks like George Floyd. It doesn't. Well, it depends on your definition of often too. It depends on your definition of often. And of course, what happened to Charlie Kirk, which is political violence. How often does that happen? In both cases, we're probably talking about a handful of times a year, perhaps. But some might argue the police does it more. I'll let you folks talk about that as we go on and continue the program. And I do apologize, folks, for it being blurry on that side. Hopefully it clears up. One was committing a crime and one was exercising his right to free speech, completely different. It doesn't really matter what either man was doing at the time of their deaths. Neither one of their activities was death worthy. Death was not a response to either one of their activities. So pointing out that George Floyd was in the process of committing a crime and Charlie Kirk was not, that doesn't justify what happened to George Floyd, unless you believe that George Floyd's actions were worthy of him losing his life. I mean, that's the only way I can see it. But by the way, folks, we'll go ahead and get into the program because I do want to talk about something else in addition to this. But I want to hear from you folks. Do you see either one of these men as martyrs, or are folks going overboard by referring to either one of these guys as being martyrs? And of course, we'll talk about Charlie Kirk receiving the Medal of Freedom from President Trump and whether or not you think he deserved that. But he did get the Medal of Freedom today, posthumously on his birthday. Now, this other story, this is politics, of course, as well. Stephen A. Smith, I think all of you folks are aware of who Stephen A. Smith is from ESPN fame. He's a long-time sports analyst. You've seen him on, I mean, he's been at games and things like that. Probably the biggest sports analyst in existence. I can't think of anyone of recent time that's probably a more well-known sports analyst than Stephen A. Smith. Well, he has actually ventured into politics now, and he's already gotten himself into hot water. You're gonna have to hear this. You're gonna have to hear this because he's gotten into hot water because of something he said about Jasmine Crockett, the representative from Texas. Now, Jasmine Crockett is known for being really critical of President Trump. And look, President Trump is known for being really critical of everybody. This I got a Breakfast Club, but you'll hear the audio, and we're going to talk about this momentarily. This is Stephen A. Smith speaking out against Jasmine Crockett, and it drew a hell of a lot of attention, particularly from the Black community. From the left side of the aisle. Stephen A. Smith on Crockett and the way she talks about President Trump.
Jasmine Crockett expressing herself.
You Jasmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how a Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district text? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying that's in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas.
So what do you guys think? You hear Stephen A. Smith is basically saying that you got to do more than just say negative shit about President Trump. In fact, he goes on to say, as opposed to saying negative things about him, you need to realize he is the man in power. I mean, President Trump is the man in power, and maybe you could get something done if you actually work with him. Now, we're going to talk about this from a couple angles. First of all, let's say Jasmine Crockett did work with President Trump as a liberal. You think Trump would be willing to work with Jasmine Crockett? Because she is liberal. She's not a conservative. So you know the vision for America that liberals want. So if Jasmine Crockett reached across the aisle and tried to work with President Trump, do you think she would obtain success? Because, I mean, Stephen A. Smith is making it clear you got to do more than just criticize the man. Now, he had more, and I want you to hear this because this is where it gets really controversial. And this is where Stephen A., I believe, where he really got hit hard for.
Jasmine to the streets.
Crockett's performance in the House scored in research. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant Black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill, and that's going to work for you. You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins for them.
So what he is basically saying is because Jasmine Crockett says harsh things about President Trump, that Republican congressmen, senators, Republican politicians are begging Fox News, Newsmax, OAN, maybe News Nation to put Jasmine Crockett on the air because her rhetoric actually benefits the Republican Party. If you hear her talking like that, it benefits the Republican Party. I want to ask you folks, how many of you folks agree with what Stephen A. Smith is saying? If you agree with him, type yes in the comments. In the comments, type yes if you agree that Jasmine Crockett's rhetoric actually hurts the Democratic Party and she needs to perhaps reach across the aisle as opposed to saying bad things about President Trump to try to get things done. I'm seeing in the comments, looks like there's some yeses and some nos. And they won't because she speaks facts. So you're saying, Martin, you're saying Jasmine Crockett speaks facts. Now, I'll tell you something. Due to this impromptu poll I have going on by way of yes or no, there's a healthy amount of yeses and nos here. So I think I got a pretty good audience of liberals and conservatives. I'm like, what do we say? We go left of Bernie Sanders, all the way to I'm having dinner with Q. And I want to talk about this from a standpoint, but I'll do it with some of my callers because I got some opinions on this as well in regards to what Stephen A. Smith is saying. But the Black community did not like what Stephen A. Smith was saying. I would play a clip. I don't know if I can bring it up. We'll bring it up in a minute, but nevertheless, I want to see how you folks feel. So we're going to just do these two topics. Stephen A. Smith chastising Jasmine Crockett. Was he right? Should Jasmine Crockett change her image? And of course, Charlie Kirk and George Floyd being martyrs. What say you? Charlie Kirk receiving the Medal of Freedom posthumously by President Trump today. So that is the program. You know how we run it. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body. We're MAGA friendly. We've always been MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome on the program as well. I just stated we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. So this program covers the gamut. Doesn't matter what your political views are, you won't be for them here. You can be critical of any damn body on this program, including yours truly. If you like that type of programming, feel free to give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube and follow us if you're currently watching on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. So we're going to go straight to the comments. No, Jasmine should not change her image, says Smith, 1975. Says, tell the truth. Very interesting. What did I always say? She just talks like a typical New Yorker. She talks straight from the hip. She calls it as she sees it. Wait a minute, that's Trump. Never mind. Paul Warner says it's a shame that just a small majority of Democrats said they were pleased with the huge accomplishment that Trump did in the Middle East. Shaking my head. Yeah, we did a show on that yesterday. There's two reasons why. I'll go back. I'll go to the box after this. Tap the screen, get us to 10,000. You know what we need to have happen. But real quick, I believe there's two reasons why the Democrats are not giving President Trump credit for this temporary, permanent, whatever you want to call it, ceasefire between the Palestinians and Israel. Two reasons they're not giving them credit. One of them is they're being reciprocal. What do I mean by reciprocal? I had guests on here yesterday that MAGA, Trump supporters, that even though they admitted the Democrats are wrong for not giving Trump credit, they didn't hesitate to also admit that if a Democrat had did this, Trump probably wouldn't get that Democrat credit either. So reason number one is probably karma. They're not going to give him a lot of credit for doing anything because they know Trump would not give the Democrats credit if the Democrats did the same thing. You can call it being petty, whatever you want to call it, but that is reason number one. Reason number two is probably even bigger. Reason number two why the Democrats are likely not giving Trump credit for negotiating this ceasefire, they don't believe it's going to really last very long. A lot of folks do not believe, based on the history in that region, that the calm between the Palestinians and Israel is not going to last very long. Now, Trump is on television making it sound like it's a permanent ceasefire, et cetera, et cetera. But many of the Democrats do not believe it's going to be anywhere near as rosy, positive, or long-lasting as President Trump suggests. So we can call it what we want. You can say they're being pessimistic, whatever the case may be, but those are the two reasons. First being for certain that if you give me credit for anything, I'm not going to give you credit for anything either. That's by far. President Trump kind of draws that attention on himself, and then, of course, they don't believe it's permanent. Anyway, looking in the comments, we'll go straight to the box. Thank you, folks that are tapping the screen. We'll go straight to Gen X. Fuck around and find out. Good evening, Gen X. Welcome to the program. So we're talking about
What's
also.
going up, Tim, my man?
Hey, good to have you on, man.
Brother, other mother.
How's it going, man?
Hey, before we start, let me give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Miss Mo Betta. She had a weekend stream, and I joined, and I said a little tidbits here and there, and she treated me really, really respectful and nice.
I'm good.
And I appreciate it. Yeah. I watched her stream for about 45 minutes before I said anything. And man, them folks had a lot of good things to say. Now, that being said, King Finn and Michael are fucking racist. As soon as they saw me in there, it was like, well, Gen X is this and that, blah, blah. And I was like, come on, man.
All right, well, let's get back to the show. I mean, I'm sure we'll be discussing that again in the future. And I don't know what the hell's going on with my computer.
Miss Mo Betty, you ain't even got to make me a sandwich no more.
Oh my God. So President Trump gave the Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk today. But I want to ask you, with George Floyd and Charlie Kirk's birthday being on the same day, both of these men being martyrs, some might say, what say you?
I think George Floyd is a criminal. He should have never got a statute. I think his memory should be respected because he didn't deserve to die the way he did. But I do not think he's a martyr.
What is your definition of a martyr?
Someone that died that the people believed in. Not what he did, but what the people believed in. That's a martyr. Charlie Kirk, on the other hand, was someone that a lot of people believed in, and he wasn't a criminal. He wasn't a drug addict. He never held a gun to a pregnant woman's belly. This man only wanted to have honest dialogue with people, and he was taken out by trans Tifa.
What the hell is trans Tifa? The person that took him out was not trans.
He was dating a trans. That makes him a trans.
Oh my God! Do you know what dating a transgender person does not make you trans? What are you talking about?
It at least makes you gay.
Okay, let's say for instance you do fall in love with a post-op transgender person that does not tell you that they're post-op. I mean, that means they don't now change their anatomy, that they now have female body parts. If you are involved in that person intimately, and then they later tell you that they have this secret they've been holding, that you know that they were born a male, does that mean you're now gay?
Very long.
That ain't what I asked you, though.
No, it doesn't make me gay.
All right,
I didn't know that they
then.
were fat.
What?
I didn't know that they were an FAG.
That ain't.
I'm trying to get your scream fucking.
Well, first of all, in regards to your Foxtrot Alpha Golf spelling, a person who's transgender is not what is known. That slur does not apply to transgender people.
Say that again?
That slur, Foxtrot Alpha Golf, that you just said, that's gay men. That slur is not known to apply to transgender people, is it?
Look, when I was growing up, we had two kinds of people. We had Homo sapiens, heterosexuals, and queers.
Okay.
You're one other. You can't flip a coin in the morning and say Yeah, today I like women, and tomorrow flip a coin and say, yeah, I like cock. No, you're one of the two.
Can you like both? Bisexual.
I don't believe in bisexual.
What the hell does that mean?
You're either one or the other. You're either gay or you're not.
So you don't believe a person can actually like both genders?
No. If you like both genders, you're gay. If you don't, you're a heterosexual.
Okay, so I get your point now. So in other words, you don't honor the term bisexual. You only you can only be straight or gay. Those are the only two terms in your book.
I think bisexual was a stepping stone to the trans movement, because if you remember in the 80s, it was being gay was taboo. And then it was don't ask, don't tell. And we as conservatives were like morons. All right, cool. Don't ask, don't tell. And then through the 90s and early 2000s, well, you know, we kind of got, and then by 2015, well, you can be a man or a woman in the same body. Are you a fucking lunatic?
Why does it matter? Why do conservatives waste up? I mean, what if you're straight and you're happy with your mate? Why do you care who your neighbor is fucking? I don't get why do conservatives get involved in it so much?
Because it fucks up my community. You're sending a fucked up message to my community that it's the normalization of mental illness is exactly what it is.
So if you live in your own subdivision and a gay couple move in next to you, that messes up the subdivision, your community?
Yeah.
How?
Absolutely.
How does
because our children are going to go to see that lifestyle and say, Mommy, Daddy, there's two men kissing on the front lawn. Is that okay? No, it's not okay. You don't kiss another guy. That's not all right.
What?
Unless you're a fucking nut job.
Let me ask you this. How would your child be harmed in any way, shape, or form if your kid saw two men or two women kissing each other?
Okay, I'll give you this. If you take a child and raise them in a good family with mom and dad, sister, brothers,
okay,
a solid family fucking unit, the kid's probably going to grow up okay. If you take a kid and you raise him in a gangster family, the kid's probably going to grow up to be a gangster. If you take another kid and raise him in a gangster tranny community, you've got this kid all fucked up. There ain't no telling how his mental state's going to come out.
So you're saying that if two men adopt a child and they raise that child, the child's going to grow up to be gay?
I don't know that. I don't know, but I think he's got a much better chance because he's being subjected to a mental illness that to him seems normal when it's not normal. They're trying to normalize this degenerate bullshit.
So then let me ask you this question. I've seen somebody posted this in the comments. What if a white supremacist family raises their child? Is the child going to become a white supremacist as well?
Probably.
So that's bad for
probably.
kids. So that's bad for kids too, then likely.
Yeah, I'll admit that. I won't die on that hill because you'll fucking roast me.
I've asked you that before. If folks believe that a man that all of a sudden wants to become a woman is mentally ill, if a person is saying that they're superior just simply due to their skin color, that is mental illness, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I would say so. Right. Tim, if you came on to your next stream and you had a blonde wig with eyeshadow and great big bright red lipstick and a fucking blue and yellow dress and said, "Hey, I'm Tim and I'm the new I'm the new handsome liberal.
Oh my God.
I'm the new handsome liberalette." Dude, there's something fucking wrong with you. You went fucking nuts.
Well, I mean, did you not watch MASH or did you not watch Miss Doubtfire? I mean, did you watch the movie and think that Robin Williams was fucking nuts?
Dude, yeah. See, there you go, moving the goalposts. Miss Doubtfire and trannies are night and day. Miss Doubtfire was a man that wanted to see his children, and he treated them, even though he was dressed up like a fucking woman, like a man. He wasn't out a tranny. He wasn't out trying to fucking get other fucking men to fucking hook up. In fact, in Miss Doubtfire, there's a part where other men try to hook up with him and he shuts them down because he did that facade, that image facade to see his children. There's a huge difference, Tim. Huge difference.
What do you say to folks who suggest that folks with your mindset are actually more harmful to children because you don't let them be who they really want to be?
I say you're on the right track. Raise your children as men. Teach little boys to be boys. Teach little girls to be girls. Proud of your boy. Fuck around and find out. That's what I say.
Do you believe a person can actually be born gay?
No. Nope.
Okay, so you believe everybody is born straight?
I think social fucking, yeah. Yeah, to answer your question, yes. I think everyone's born straight.
Here's what I don't get. Now, do you believe in God? You religious? You Christian?
Yeah, I'm Christian.
Okay. The reason I'm asking that is we know human beings can be born with too many toes or not enough toes or not born with an arm or not born with a leg. People have been born with their organs on the outside of their body. The point I'm making is humans are not born normal all the time. Breech births, born with diseases and all that. Why do we believe it? Why do you believe when it comes to sexuality, there are no deviations? They're all born the same way when no other facet of birth is that way. I mean, people were born with mismatched eyes. People were born blind. Why would you believe that they're all perfectly born straight when the rest of birth is loaded with different types of deviations?
First of all, you're moving the goalposts again, and that's okay. Second of all, I'll answer the question because we're imperfect as humans. People that are born like that aren't bad or evil people. They're misguided. They're misguided because of mental illness.
Okay, well, if you personally believe that homosexuality is a mental illness, we know people are born on the spectrum with autism and all kinds of other mental illnesses, then why can't they have that mental illness that you're designating? I mean, like I keep saying, we know humans are not born according to what we view as a perfect, normal human being. Folks are born with different abnormalities all the time. Why can't they be born with that abnormality?
And they are on the spectrum. I don't understand what you're asking me.
What I'm asking is, people are born abnormal in every way, shape, or form. You know, born missing this, missing that, too many of those. This is the wrong color. This doesn't function. If you believe that being a homosexual is some form of mental illness, we know kids are born with mental illnesses. So why do you believe that they all have to be born straight? Why can't they be born with that as a mental illness?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that all kids need to be born straight because God said nobody's going to be perfect.
So then you believe that some kids are born gay?
No, I didn't say that. You said that. I believe that being gay is a product of a social fucking environments. I don't believe that children are born gay. No.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, so you think all of the folks of that community that tell you that they were born gay, they're all lying about it?
Yeah. I think they're full of shit. They're confused. They're mentally ill. They need a straitjacket. They don't need fucking someone to be welcoming to them or tolerant. Tolerance, in my opinion, tolerance is a word for men who are unprincipled.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I do have to move it on soon, but let me ask you this. Let's say you, Gen X, you're king of your own territory. You got your own island. You got your own country. You're the king. So you're not, this is no president bullshit. You're the king. You have full power like a king. What would you do to your subjects that claim to be gay, that say they were born gay?
Off with their heads.
You're kidding, right? You're kidding, right?
No, because if I was born a king, there would be no such thing as mental hospitals, and the only way to cut the line of mental illness is to get rid of them. Off with their heads.
You really? Damn. All right, Gen X. Oh my God, really? That's horrible. Has anybody referred to you as a homophobe?
Dude, I will say right now, I am a homophobe and I am a transphobe, and here's why. Because that movement has gotten so big that now it threatens normal people. It threatens our way of life. They're trying to make that so normal. They're trying to normalize transgenderism and fucking I don't want to say homophobia, but homosexualism. That yeah, I'm afraid of it because Biden and the left are fucking pushing that shit and making it normal in our societies, and it should not be.
Wow.
It should. So I fear something that's going to take over what should be normal in our societies and communities. 100%.
That's a strong opinion. All right, Gen X. I got one of my voters said I would vote for the caller. Wow. Look, off with their heads down. Gen X, you never disappoint. You say some of the wildest shit. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Tim, you have a great night, brother. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Same. Appreciate it. All right, by the way, tap the screen. Get your guy on up to 20,000 likes. I did not expect him to say off with the heads. Damn. I got to disagree with that 100%. But like I said, this is a free speech, uncensored program. So we let the viewers state their mindset. Not something I totally disagree with. I personally consider myself an ally of the community. I do believe you can be born gay, and I don't see it being problematic to the degree where my last caller said, but he has a right to say what he feels. With Gen X, it would be the French Revolution, says Freedom Fighter. I agree with the push. I agree with the push. They trying to push it. I think be easy in the comments when you say they're trying to push the LGBTQ lifestyle. I don't, I kind of view it just like with any other form of civil rights. When people are fighting for equality, it's viewed as you're trying to push it on us. I mean, whether it's women getting the right to vote, African Americans getting civil rights, you're trying to push. It was kind of the same rhetoric thrown at African Americans and women when they were trying to get equality as well. You're trying to push your way of life, or you're trying to force this on me, or whatever. They were saying the same thing. Fat people too, says Joseph Miller. I don't quite get what you mean by that, Joseph. And in the comments, real quick, Mr. Splackerville, good to see you again. 90% of former presidents wore wigs and stockings. I didn't know about the stockings, but I do remember you see George Washington with the white hair and the curls. There was some kind of wig on there. And by the way, they actually still wear that wig you see George Washington wearing in some of the old photos. When I lived overseas in Australia, I remember one day when I first got there, and I'll go to the box after this, just me reminiscing real quickly. When I first got there, I was downtown in a city called Brisbane. It's Australia's third largest city. And I was downtown, big amount of back and forth flow. It was rush hour, people moving everywhere. And 3 judges walked past me. And I'm coming up I'm about to walk across the street, and I'm at the stoplight waiting for the light to turn green to walk across the street or whatever. 3 judges walked in front of me, and they're standing there waiting for the light to turn green as well. And I look up, all of them were wearing that white wig. They wear that in Australia. They still wear those. So that crazy looking wig you see with George Washington wear, they still wear that. Men, all men. Anyway, going back to the box, in the UK, you're saying they do it as well, huh? Yeah, it's probably where they got it from. They trying to force Christian beliefs on people. They've been doing that since the beginning of time. Rod S. Going back to the box, we'll go to the one and only Gangsta, Grandma, one of my subscribers. Good evening, Gangsta.
You have a racist ass, homophobic ass, fat bitch. That's what he is.
Who are you talking about?
Homophobic fat bitch and a racist, all in one. The fat fuck that was just left.
You talking about my last caller? You saying the Gen X?
Yeah. And tell your homie that talked shit about me last night, called me a ghost, and said I went to the same church as the maggots. Tell him to kiss my black ass. And tell him he has some balls to come to my face and say it. I'll give him $1.50. He'll never forget.
I don't even remember who talked about you.
I don't know, but my whole box was in like saying somebody was talking bad shit, calling me a white bitch, calling me white and shit. Bitch, I'll show you who white is.
All right, let's okay.
All right. I'll give him $1.50. He'll never fucking forget.
Okay, we don't want to talk about giving people $1.50. But anyway, let's get back to the actual show. George Floyd and Charlie Kirk.
Yes, but guess what? Guess what? I'm mentally ill. Do you know why I'm mentally ill? Because I like dick and pussy. And what? And I was born that way. And what? I like pussy at 5 years old and dick. And what?
You
And
wait.
guess who I came from?
You
And
like
guess who I came from? I came from my mama and my daddy. Both were married. Both was straight as fucking hells could be. And what, bitch? I like them both. Both chocolate. And what?
so you liked both sexes at 5 years old.
Hell yeah, I like titties. And I like, well, you know, at 5 years old, I just thought girls was looking good. And I thought little boys was looking good. Now I didn't give a fuck about the ding-a-ling and shit till I got into till I got like at 15, 16 years old. Then I was like, damn, I like both of them asses. You feel what I'm saying? Shit. I had a girl and a boy when I was in high school and shit. And what? And what? I had my cake and I eat it too.
Sounds very promiscuous there, gangster grandma.
And what? And?
Okay.
Shit, I got laid. And what? That motherfucker can't get no pussy or dick. That's why he's a homophobic. Look at he looks like. Shit, the pussy runs from his ass.
Okay, well, let's not get Charlie Kirk and George Floyd both being martyrs. What say you?
Nobody said on the left that George Floyd was a martyr. We just got respect for him.
No.
Because he died a fucked up damn death of a white man that didn't like our asses.
I gotta correct you. I went on YouTube and put in George Floyd a martyr. There are people who did videos 5 and 6 years ago calling him a martyr.
They got some issues because nobody should be a martyr.
Okay. What about George Floyd receiving the Medal of Freedom today?
Well, typical ass white tea devil is giving another white tea devil the shit. What the hell are you talking about? It's fucking disgusting. He was a racist pig.
Well,
he learned how to lean that day, did he not? Drip, drip.
Would you stop that? Let me ask you this. In regards to you saying that he was a racist, what's making you say that Charlie Kirk was a racist? He was critical of people of the black community, but
really,
what
Tim?
makes I gotta ask.
Stop fluffing already, Tim.
I gotta ask.
2 fucking minutes in, you already started fluff. Oh, he didn't like us black folks. He was talking that shit. Everything came out of his mouth was not positive. It was always something negative. Oh, black women are not educated. They took from the white women. Well, technically, white women took from the black women, actually. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get the real shit together. Okay.
And real quick, good evening, Angela W. Jackson. No, what I'm saying though is Charlie Kirk was a huge champion for the conservative movement. Is that not something?
Yeah, a huge champion of being racist. The conservatives are racist. They're the white tea devil. I have no respect for them. I would spit on their asses. Drip, drip. Like they did. I'm so glad. Hey, he learned how to lead and shit. And hey, he said it that people gotta get unalive for the Second Amendment. Well, hell.
Well, he did. He did say something. He did say to maintain the Second Amendment, some deaths are worth it. But I mean, I don't think.
Well, I guess another life was worth it. Drip, drip.
Would you stop? I mean, don't make fun of somebody losing their life. That's not. I mean,
hey, he's the white devil. I gives 2 fucks.
He's not a white devil. He was a young.
He's the white devil. I know you like to kiss their asses, but he's the white devil.
What?
They are the white devil. They are the triple K. They don't like us.
What the hell did Charlie Kirk do to make you refer to him as a devil?
Really?
I'm asking.
He didn't even like. He even said that the civil rights was fucking wrong.
Well, he gave reasons for why he didn't favor the Civil Rights Act, though.
I don't give a damn if he gave you reasons. Who the fuck? Tim, stop drinking the bleach, okay? Stop drinking the uncooked protein. It doesn't serve you well.
No, listen.
Okay?
I didn't say I agree with the guy. I didn't say I agree with the guy.
Yes, dude, you see how you do? How you come on, you start pushing back on me, but you want to push back on that fat fuck that was just up here being a homophobic ass dick.
I just made it clear I don't agree with anything he said. I told him that.
Don't push back on me. I said what the fuck I said. He's a white tea devil.
I don't know where you're getting devil from. I don't think Charlie Kirk.
You know what is the white chief devil? One down. How many more do we got to go?
What the hell you mean one down? I mean what are you sound like you're contemplating violence or you're supporting violence.
Did I say that? I said one down, many more to go. The orange guy gets squeezed. And I'm hoping very soon because he had to go to the doctor, right? We need that orange to be squeezed.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that up. Okay, I want you to hear now, Stephen. We're gonna go in.
Your little home fat fuck over there wants to talk to me. Oh yeah. I wish the bitch would. I'll drag his damn fat fucking ass.
Okay, we don't want that.
I want to walk his damn ass.
We don't want that. But I want you to hear. This is something that was said because now Stephen A. Smith said some pretty harsh things about Jasmine Crockett. I want to get your opinion on something. I want you to listen to this.
You Jasmine Crockett or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how a Jasmine Crockett chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your text? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have this.
And by the way, folks, help your boy. Hold on, hang on. By the way, folks, help your boy get the TikTok cap goal. I would appreciate that. Show the program some love. What do you think about what Stephen A. Smith is saying, Miss Betty?
He's gagging on uncooked protein, and he don't like the fact that she's very blunt and straight the fuck up, just like me. She don't hold her words back, and what?
Well, and Cat and Big Dog, appreciate it. Thank you. What about the whole notion that maybe you need to work with President Trump instead of just always bashing him? Maybe you get more accomplished.
Maybe he'll stop fucking around. Okay, maybe he'll stop coming for us, or maybe he'll just shut the fuck up sometimes and go croak somewhere. Damn.
Do you think what Jasmine Crockett is doing, just criticizing and bashing Trump the way she's doing?
You know what? Nobody would criticize his ugly ass if he wasn't doing fucked up shit, right?
I'm asking the question, is it working for Jasmine Crockett, though? Sterlo, appreciate it.
We love Jasmine. What are you talking about? I know your black ass don't. You like the fucking snow fucking hood rat bunnies.
What the hell?
The ones that look fucked up, tore up on the floor. You can't even get a good snowflake. You gotta get the fucked up ones. Because you thought Marjorie Green was fucking cute. And what?
I didn't say that. I never said
that. That other bitch that's in the White House, nasty as fuck.
I never said nothing about Marjorie Taylor Greene. What are you talking about?
You just a lost cause anyways. But Jasmine Crockett she is top up there. She says what she means, and she stands on her 10 toes down, okay? But you don't like it, oh well, get over it.
But is it working for Democrats to just keep criticizing the guy as opposed to...
Yes, we have to criticize him. We're not like you. There's a kiss ass and try to make men's with the right and say, oh, they're my friends. They'll put you in a fucking tree and this and that. And, oh, we got to do this and you have to kiss ass. And, oh, no. We're going to call out the bullshit. Do you understand? We're calling out the bullshit. Like he's bringing in the military and shit. We're calling out the bullshit.
Okay, you can call out what you think Trump is doing is wrong without all the insults and name calling, though, right?
No. We're going to call you what it is. Well, if they're playing dirty. Why can't you be played dirty? Oh, Timmy, I forgot. You're white. You want to play with, you want to just play fair? No, bitch. No, Tim. We're not playing fair. No.
You sound like you're...
They go down, we'll go take them to the pits of hell.
You sound like
Why do you think I had no respect for their asses? Why do you think I drag them to the pits of hell?
You just don't
because
like
you know what? They put us through this for 4 fucking years. I'm dragging them to the piss of hell. I don't give a fuck about them. Like when TK died, drip. I don't give a damn. I have no respect.
You sound like you're echoing what Joseph Miller is saying. Why not? What will it help to be nice? So in other words, it ain't gonna make a difference anyway.
Why? Why be nice to people that are not nice to you, that want to put you back in the field of shit and degrade you and think that you was born being a criminal and shit like Trump said. We was born to be criminals. Bitch, you was born to be a criminal.
Who the hell wants to put you back in the fields? What are you talking about?
Really, Tim? Oh my God, you make me fucking sick. I see why your wife left your ass.
What? Where did that come from?
I would divorce you in 2.2 seconds. You feel what I'm saying? I sure you fucking would. Because you know what? You are a disgrace to the fucking damn black. Oh, what does black jobs mean? You dumbass.
I'm just asking questions, baby. You got to go off on me like that.
I ain't your baby. You glad I'm not your baby because me and you'll be scrapping. I will beat the shit out you in front of anybody.
Anime,
You know what I'm saying?
anime, you need to stop it, anime. Why you gotta be threatening the boy? Why you gotta do that?
Because you be acting stupid as hell.
Oh, my.
Like you need something. I don't know what you fucking need. You need a bat upside your head or something to bring you back to reality that you're a black man, that you're not a white man, and that you know what the fuck that motherfucker meant.
Moses in the comments says this lady has no common sense. She has bitterness. Are you bitter?
Am I bitter? No, I'm fucking high, bitch. What the fuck? I'm high as hell. I ain't bitter, and I'm speaking the damn truth. And what?
All right, and by the way, appreciate that. Terry says this is good content. Thank you, Terry, on YouTube. I want you to hear Gangsta Grandma I want you to hear something else. I want to get your opinion on this. This is once again Stephen A. But now he's going to clarify why he said what he said. I want to get your opinion on this.
Jasmine speaking to the streets.
Crockett's performance in the House Court of Research. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fun when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you? You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins for them.
Eminem gets a pass, Thurlow. So what do you think, Gangsta Grandma? What do you think? Rhetoric for the streets. That's what he's saying Jasmine Crockett is doing.
She brought the streets into the White House and would. I would too. If I was the president, I'd be talking the same damn shit and would. I would be a thug too up in there. What the fuck? Some of these white cheap people need to want to know what a thug is. And they need to know they need to get they put in their damn place by somebody from the damn streets. Maybe that's what the white cheap people need. Is to get put in their damn place by fucking people like us, like Jasmine Crockett that has a mouth on him and don't get two fucks how they say or speak, and they're letting it all out. Yep. Maybe that's what they fucking do need instead of being whitewashed, thinking it's so proper to go up in there and courteous to them. Fuck them. I would say it up there. I would speak my fucking mind, Tim. Like I speak my mind to you, and would.
Could she possibly accomplish more by having more tact and speaking more professionally?
No, because the idiots are idiots. They're interbred. They don't even know who their mama is. It could be their sisters and every damn thing else. They're all interbred, especially down south motherfuckers. They don't even know the shit. You feel what I'm saying? They don't. They need some thuggish up in there. They need to get, put it down to them and put it correct to them.
You do understand.
And the truth.
You do understand this is the president of the United States she's talking to like that.
Okay? And if I seen him, I would speak the same shit. And what the fuck is that white boy gonna do to me? He's croaking as it is. Damn, he has crinkles all over his damn feet, all swollen. His hands all fucked up. His damn double chin slapping. Damn, he's orange for real. Fucking for real. He be painting that shit up on his face. Now, what do you think? You got afraid of that shit?
Have you no decency? I get you don't like trouble. What about respecting the damn office?
What? So, you want me to have decency to white tea devil? Fuck you. I ain't like you. I'm never going to be a ratty raccoon. You could be the ratty raccoon and suck up all of it and do all that and drip his uncooked protein. Not my black ass.
No,
I tell you, I've never been to the knee to a white man and never will.
All right, fair enough.
I tell you, tell your homeboy don't ever call me a ghost again because he'll meet my fucking fat fucking ass and he won't like me because you have a busted ass damn jaw. Fuck around and find out with me.
Gangsta Grandma, thank you for coming through. Moving on with the program, Joseph Miller says they went high already. So you're saying the Democrats went high? And appreciate the TikTok cap there. Who sent that? Monica, thank you. Thank you very much. Help your boy get that TikTok cap go. I appreciate you supporting the show. Thank you there, Monica. Real quick in the comments before we go to the next caller. Why respect someone who never respected you? So you're suggesting that President Trump never respected Jasmine Crockett? I don't know. She might have been far enough down in the weeds that President Trump did not even know about her until she started being caught saying things. I just want to address something real quick. I want to give you my take on something real quick that I personally have a gripe on. I'll just play a quick second of this again because of what Stephen A. said, because I do kind of take odds at what Stephen A. said. And
in the House, court and research. What I was saying was this educated, brilliant black woman representing over 750,000 people is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And that's fine when you're in the streets. How many of y'all bring the streets to the table when you at the negotiating table trying to get a deal done? How many of you are able to think that for a second that you're able to bring street verbiage to Capitol Hill and that's going to work for you? You literally have senators and congressional figures on Capitol Hill on the side of the Republicans telling the networks, whether it's Fox News, News Nation, or anybody else, please, please, please put her front and center on camera. Why would they do that? Because they know it wins.
It shouldn't. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000. Here's the 2 points I have with this. First of all, why does Jasmine Crockett, who is saying critical things about President Trump, no, she's not respecting President Trump, but Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, they don't respect the left. Why is Jasmine Crockett's rhetoric being referred to as being from the streets? You've never heard anybody suggest that what Marjorie Taylor Greene has said is from the streets, or Lauren Boebert, or whatever her name is from the streets. Why is her language being referred to as being from the streets? So to me, Stephen A. Smith framing it like that, the stereotypical connotations of that is wrong. That right there is one of the reasons why you probably have a large portion of the black community pushing back on them saying it like that from the streets. By the way, Jasmine Crockett is not even from the streets. She grew up in a middle-class family. She wasn't poor or in the hood when she grew up. She actually grew up middle class, and she went to, she's become a very successful lawyer in her own right before she even became a politician. That woman ain't struggled. That woman don't even fit the narrative of being from the streets. I wouldn't be surprised if Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, was on Star Search back in the day, she probably struggled more than Jasmine Crockett growing up. So I don't know why Stephen A. Smith would hear her and suggest that her language is for the streets. By the way, President Trump also, as my last caller and many have pointed out, is very critical in name calling and insults and stuff. Nobody ever referred to Trump's language as being from the streets. Talks like a typical New Yorker. He's a straight shooter. He shoots from the hip. He's doing the same thing that all of a sudden Jasmine Crockett is doing, yet her language is from the street. So there is a double standard. I just want to point that out. And last but not least, you hear Stephen A. talk about Republican congressmen and senators are begging the networks to put Jasmine Crockett on the air because apparently her rhetoric is going to be a win for the Republican Party, which would lead to the obvious question. If what Jasmine Crockett is doing, the rhetoric, the insults, the name calling, if what she is doing if you put on the news and they see that, if that is a win for the Republican Party, then how is Trump's rhetoric not a victory for the Democrat Party or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Boebert? So I don't understand it. I don't understand that maybe Jasmine Crockett is being put on a different playing field or something, because I don't favor what she's doing. But then again, you guys know I don't favor the name calling from Trump, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or any politician. But I do have to ask, if it's okay for the president to do that to his subjects, you'd have to expect some of the subjects to do unto him. Isn't that the normal phrase, do unto others as you would have them do unto you? I mean, listen, if President Trump is, if he holds he mentioned Capitol Hill. He mentioned that she goes to Capitol Hill talking like this. If President Trump is speaking on Capitol Hill, he's not going to mince words. I mean, he'll stand right there during the State of the Union and talk about crooked Hillary, nervous Nancy, Sleepy Joe, bird brain Nikki Haley. I mean, he throws that stuff around on national, if not global television. So why does Jasmine Crockett get criticized for doing it? So we will continue with the program, but I don't understand that. I don't understand why she's being criticized for doing something that a lot of folks favor Trump for doing. What's the difference? How are people this lazy, tongues lazy, hands lazy, says Sean? I don't know. Trump doesn't know what that means. All right. That's exactly why he made that statement, because she's not from the hood, so why act like it? But Creed, that's the point I'm making. If what Jasmine Crockett is doing is acting like she's from the hood, how does that not apply to Marjorie Taylor Greene or President Trump or Bobart? If you're going to say that Crockett's language shows that she's acting like she's from the hood, then how does the rest of them get a pass? They're all doing the same shit. What's the difference? I mean, is she being judged on a different level? Let me go back to the box. Jeremy, good evening. Welcome to the program, Jeremy. She's educated Black female, and they hate that, says Yo-Yo. You can't play with my yo-yo. Jeremy, good evening.
I see you let the mentally ill come in first. Okay.
Oh my God. I saw you in the comments.
I know. I love Gangster Grandma. I don't know why. She's my favorite Frosty the
Appreciate
Snowman.
it, didn't count. Go ahead.
She's my favorite. She's my favorite snowman because she claims to be black, but she's whiter than snow.
No, she's a black woman. I think she's a black woman.
Nah, I don't believe it.
Well, let's be clear. How many white people want to pretend to be black? I don't know. I mean, there's been a few, but not many.
I mean, did Rachel Dolezal not happen? Aren't there a whole bunch of white rappers pretending to be black on YouTube all the time? Like,
no,
like they go home to their suburban households and they're like, "Yo, ma, I'm so sick of having to live in your basement."
I don't.
And like your name is Clevis. Shut up.
Oh
anyway.
My God. I don't know about too many whites pretending to be black. That ain't normally a winning strategy. But what do you think about what Stephen A. Smith is saying here?
Oh, he's 100% right. He's 100% right. Okay, she talks with a foul mouth. She talks like a gangsta. Like she talks like she's ghetto. And this couldn't be the first thing from the truth. She's fake ghetto. She won't like. I think Lauren Bobart, or was it? I don't remember who it was.
Bobart and Marjorie Taylor Greene does crazy shit too. Why are they not referred to as being ghetto?
Yeah, but I don't respect them either.
What about Trump? He says crazy shit too.
Am I a Trump? Did I not say I'm not a Trump supporter?
So you don't respect Trump either, then?
No. I don't. Well, and here's the thing. I think that it's okay to occasionally make jokes at people's expense. And there's a time and place for righteous anger. But that's not what Trump does.
Fair enough. Listen, here's my take. Right now, the damn government is closed, entering week 3. And we need the sides to come together. Right now, with the amount of division we have in this country, and the only way we're going to get the country back running is for these sides to come together and come up with some kind of bill or whatever, or for Congress to vote in favor of this. This ain't the time to be telling jokes at nobody's expense. I mean, you got to get the other side to work with you. The last thing you need to be doing is insulting the hell out of him. President Trump, in addition to the the Hakeem Jeffries sombrero joke, he's been criticizing and attacking the Democrats this whole time. And let me ask you, does it appear based on Trump's actions, in your opinion, that he wants the sides to work together?
Nah, but that's why, again, I don't have to support him because I don't think he's doing a particularly good job right now. Now, here's the thing, though. Jasmine Crockett needs to kiss the Pope's ring at some point. He needs to get on both knees and do what she does naturally. Okay.
What the hell does that mean? I gotta push back. I'm gonna get hammered by Gangster Grandma. What the hell does that mean? Get on both knees and do what she does naturally. What are you saying?
Come on, she's not a winner. She's not a winner, so she has to.
She's in Congress. What the hell you mean she's not a winner? She's actually a wealthy woman before becoming a congresswoman. Now she don't want, and she's in a very red state like Texas. She's a congress. How the hell she's not a winner? She won the election.
Yeah, she won a popularity contest. Ooh, I'm so amazing. I don't fucking care. Listen. Okay, Jasmine is an idiot. She doesn't know what she's talking about most of the time, and she is well, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh yeah, panderer. She panders to the black community. She doesn't actually care about other black people.
Give me an example of somebody in the Republican Party that you believe cares about the black community.
Rand Paul.
Rand Paul? I don't even think most black people know who the hell he is from Kentucky. Rand Paul, really? Give me another. By the way, he's more of an independent. Give me a Republican.
Well, I think most people on both sides are scam artists, but if I had to go with another, probably Scott Walker from my state of Wisconsin.
The former governor?
Yep.
Hell no. Scott Walker? Hell no. What was the name of that?
Does know.
What was the name of that black sheriff that used to be under him? Clark or whatever that guy's name was?
David Clark.
Yeah, no way. Scott Walker, really? You think?
Yes.
They hated Scott Walker. I grew up in Milwaukee, so I'm quite familiar. A little bit of my childhood was in Milwaukee, my high school years, so I'm quite familiar with Wisconsin. I know a lot of people that live. I don't know anybody black that like Scott Walker other than that damn sheriff that was kind of like, he would have been like the Hodge twins or Officer Tatum type. There's no way. Scott Walker.
Don't you dare besmirch the good name of David Clark by comparing him to the fucking Hodge twins of all people. Ugh.
I'm just going to tell you when you talk about the
equivalent.
I'm going to tell you. You talk about the African Americans in Milwaukee and Madison and Fond du Lac or even up there in Appleton. No way in hell they saw Scott Walker as somebody who was. What the hell did Scott? I mean, he broke up the unions. You got to give me somebody better. You got to give me somebody better than Scott Walker.
Sam, are we gonna go through a list this entire night, or are we gonna talk about policy?
A list? I just want you to give me one.
I've given you three. Well, sorry, two.
Yeah, Scott. Who was the first person you gave me again? Ron Paul. Okay, all right. You would have did better by just saying none. But I tell you one thing, notice you didn't say President Trump, the guy who says that he's done more for blacks than anybody since Abraham Lincoln. You didn't use Trump at all.
Yeah, but that's because I think that Trump's in it for himself. I don't think he hates black people. I just don't think he cares about other people that much.
Did you hear him tell Ducey he don't think he's going to heaven?
I did not hear that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Why do you think he would say, I don't think I'm going to heaven?
I have no idea. I really don't know. Maybe the Epstein files.
That actually may be on. You may be onto something, because I suppose if you believe in God, you would know that God knows what's in the files, no matter how much you hide them from the public. So that could be. But he did say, I don't think there is a path for me to get to heaven. So he don't think he's going. Yeah.
But before we go any further, what was the other topic that you had for tonight, other than Stephen A. Smith?
We're talking about Charlie Kirk and George Floyd being martyrs. Both of them being. Yeah. Now you know that Charlie Kirk just received a Presidential Medal of Freedom from Trump today. Do you think he deserved that? Think he earned it?
Yes. And Gangster Grandma in the comments, Cope harder. Anyway,
What makes you say Charlie Kirk deserved the nation's highest honor? What do you think he contributed to our society to be worthy of the nation's highest honor as a civilian?
Okay, he actually was willing to make real conversation with people and really exercise what it means to be a citizen who exercises the rights to the First Amendment. And he was a symbol of the First Amendment.
God damn it, I'm doing that. Jeremy, God damn it, I'm doing that right now with people. Should I get the damn medal? I'm doing that right now with people on my. You know how many people are willing to let folks talk? Is that it?
Well, I mean, hopefully nobody tries to off you. I mean, I think Gangster Grandma might do that at some point. She's that angry at you.
I don't. Me and Gangster Grandma, we got a thing going on. Me and Gangster Grandma going to end up riding off in the sun. We're going to end up riding off in the sunset together. Gangster Grandma just.
You got to let me debate her sometime. I would roast her into an actual black person.
Damn. You know, I don't normally, just to prevent things from becoming a shouting match, I don't normally bring up multiple guests, but I'd bring you to it. It was just by the time I saw you in the comments, most of her time had already taken place. Didn't count. I appreciate that. Thank you. Helping your boy get that TikTok cap goal. Thank you. But yeah, by the time you came up, me and Gangsta Grandma had been talking for quite a while. So I was like, you guys have been well in the 20s and whatever the case may be, but Gangsta Grandma has some strong opinions. She's not a fan of Trump. In fact, she believes there's a whole lot of problems with the white community that are anti-black. What say you? Do you think she has a point in any way, shape, or form? I mean, she talks about
when it comes to Trump, maybe with Trump. But here's the thing: if Trump said oxygen is good for you, she would suffocate the next day. That's how much of a cult member she is, okay? I'm just saying. Now, when it comes to the white community, I mean, maybe if we rewind the clock to the 1960s, I don't know, okay? But, it's super taboo. I even saw a documentary recently about the Klan themselves, and they've actively tried to distance themselves from the Yahtzees just because of how unpopular racism actually is. And they try to rebrand themselves as just being about white heritage. Like that, it's so unpopular. The Klan is having to revitalize itself. I think it's sincere. Don't get me wrong. I don't believe for a fucking second it's sincere. I think that these are the same racist assholes they've always been.
Here's where I disagree. Here's where I disagree with you. You keep bringing up the Klan. I don't think it's so unpopular. The Klan is trying to distance themselves. I think what it is the Klan is unpopular. The Klan is, they're not as big as they used to be. You have a lot of other white supremacist groups that are walking down the street with symbols of the Third Reich openly without any problem. Maybe the Klan don't want to do it. That's fine. You might be right about the Klan, but there are plenty. I mean, we just had issues in Nashville, people standing over bridges in Columbus, Ohio. There's been a whole lot of people that have been openly racist in the last, how long has Trump been in office? 9 months. In about the last 9 months, there have been people who have been openly walking down the street with swastika flags and every damn thing. So I don't think it's as on the down low as you're suggesting it is. People are actually walking down the street now with this stuff.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Groups like Patriot Front, I'm convinced, are 100% funded and operated by the CIA. I have no doubt about that. I just think they're all a bunch of feds and glowies. Okay? I don't believe for a second that they're sincere. But again, these are fringes. These are fringes that the news media is like, oh, look at that, a story. I can talk about Nick Fuentes.
Well, listen, Tyler Robinson, the guy that took out Charlie Kirk, he's a fringe as well, and the president is calling him radical left. The radical left is also the fringe. The average American leftist is not trying to take out somebody on the right. Yet if you listen to President Trump, everybody on the left is a radical leftist. So look, I mean, people are going to inflate shit. Or exaggerate, so to speak.
I know, but but I don't think that the average person on the left is insane. I think that I disagree with them on a lot of things. I have had so many conversations. You're a prime example of this. I've had so many conversations with people who are reasonable, level-headed, not like Jasmine Crockett, just normal, everyday people who are on the left who absolutely can articulate their points and it's in logical, decent fashions, okay? Yeah,
I disagree with you. I disagree. I think, listen, my opinion is that if Jasmine Crockett was confronted by a Mitt Romney or the late John McCain or something, she would probably be fairly professional and reasonable. I mean, look, right now with President Trump in office, the order of the day is launching insults because most MAGA echo his insults. I mean, they're calling Nikki Haley bird brain. They use that stuff. So right now, Jasmine Crockett, the environment she is in, does not call for being professional. But I do believe that if she spoke with some of the more sensible members, like you mentioned Ron Paul, I don't think she would say that shit to Ron Paul or Rand Paul, whatever. I don't think she would wouldn't talk to him like that because he's not talking like that.
I can't speak for her and say that I know what she would do in those situations because I have not seen her in those situations. And hey, I'm always open for her to have a redemption arc. I'm always open for her to like turn around because here's the thing, acting like Trump is only a good long-term strategy if you were a nobody who nobody heard about for forever and you needed to beat establishment Republicans in a race. Like somehow he made it work, but in the long term, being professional, being respectable, giving an aura of like respectability, kind of like JD Vance, which is why I think he'll probably win after Trump leaves office.
Why do you say that? JD Vance is kind of dibbling and dabbling in that stuff too now.
He's kind of bordering on it. And I can see what you're saying, but he's still maintaining most of his respectability for the most part.
But the problem is if you're defending Trump, you're going to, just like when George W. Bush got us into the Iraq War, a lot of Congress and Senate lost their jobs because they're going to say, look, you voted for that. They tied him to George W. Bush. Obviously, JD Vance is obviously tieable to President Trump. You're sitting there while he's going off on Zelensky. You're sitting there while he's launching all these insults on people. It's going to be hard for JD Vance to convince people that he's not. If you like Trump, you like Vance. If you don't like Trump, you don't like Vance. Terry Hayes, appreciate the support. You're not going to like him. I mean, because now I'm not saying he may not win. It depends on what the Democrats put up. It depends on the condition of the country in the next few years. But JD Vance is not going to escape being part of Trump's administration, no matter how professional he tries to act. He was there for that shit the whole time.
You might be right, but I do want to bring it back to the martyrs thing. Here's the definition of a martyr: a person assassinated for their religious or other beliefs. So it doesn't have to be religious, but that's commonly what it is.
It said assassinated?
Assassinated.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so someone assassinated. So not just like you unalive somebody, not just you kill somebody.
I thought like in the Middle East, some of those guys were talking about, they would go ahead and blow themselves up to become a martyr. So you're telling me somebody else has to take your life?
Yeah, you can take your own life, but
that ain't an assassination. Well,
it has to either be assassination or killing, but it has to be for your religious or other beliefs. It could be political as well. And Charlie definitely fits that definition. I'm sorry to say it, George Floyd does not. He's definitely a symbol of police brutality, but he is not a martyr.
Bro.
He wasn't somebody who was like standing up for his beliefs and being like, "Make police brutality end," and then was killed by the cops. He was killed by the cops when something else was happening.
Yeah, but folks see him as somebody who lost his life to. And by the way, despite what George Floyd, his criminal history, him committing crimes and things like that, he actually got a lot. He's responsible for getting a lot accomplished towards ending brutality. I mean, obviously, police brutality will never end, but chokeholds got banned because of him. Departments started having to wear body cams. I mean, a lot of things got accomplished because of George Floyd. In fact, I would submit to you that George Floyd, while you're referring to him not as a martyr and referring to Charlie Kirk as being a martyr, George Floyd is probably responsible for more positive accomplishments on his side of the aisle than Charlie Kirk is. Because Charlie Kirk, he was good at debating, but what did Charlie Kirk actually accomplish?
Okay, well, he was a free speech martyr, and so I would say the things that he accomplished was that he got more people to actually get involved. He actually started a company that is now nationwide and is even going to other locations around the world. I mean, Charlie actually promoted free speech so much that tons of people are taking up his mantle. So I'd say he did a lot. Now
you do realize George Floyd sparked protests against police misconduct and racism worldwide. I mean, worldwide there were protests and people had pictures of George Floyd. People were yelling BLM and all. I mean, worldwide it was happening. So big movement, movement.
Here's the difference that makes someone a martyr rather than just a symbol. They have to act. The person who is martyred has to actively be acting in a way that causes their death to be a persecution of them as a person. So it can't just simply be, I was a victim of a random act of violence, like that was unpredictable and nobody saw coming. It has to be because they were actively doing something. This is why Christ is a martyr and not just a symbol. Christ is a martyr because he wasn't just killed. Well, it's just because he was, as a Jew, speaking out against the Pharisees. Well, actually, that is why he was killed. That's actually the point, is that he was actually going around speaking against people in high places, and he was killed for it. Versus if he was just a regular Jewish person, not speaking out against bad people, not speaking out against anything, and just
here's where I could probably say your definition could have pushback on it, because you're saying that George Floyd, unlike Charlie Kirk, George Floyd was not speaking out. He actually died speaking out against police brutality. He was speaking out against what was happening to him when it was happening, and he got caught on camera doing it. So he didn't gain his notoriety like Charlie Kirk over a period of years. He gained it in only 9 minutes, but he literally lost his life speaking out against police brutality. So I think he fits your definition, whether you want to give it to him or not. I think he fits it.
I would say that's really pushing a technicality.
Did he not die crying out against police brutality? Was he not telling the cop, "You are taking my life by saying I can't breathe"? Did he not die doing that?
I mean, he did for himself, but he really didn't speak out against it for other people. It wasn't really like a whole movement that he was a part of for an extended period of time, like Charlie's movement was. Charlie literally built up an entire movement, and while George Floyd just kind of like panicked and just didn't want to die. That's kind of maybe on the most technical sense you could say he's a martyr, but that's really, really stretching it. But anyway, pretty sure you got to move it on pretty soon, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Before you do,
I
just want to end up with one thing. Last night I didn't get the chance to finish what I was saying, and when a call came in, notice how last night when it came to the whole giving Trump credit for like Gaza and all that, and then like Gangster Grandma and a bunch of other people, a bunch of lobotomites kept saying that it was Biden's job, it was his credit to take.
Yeah.
Notice how they couldn't get any specifics. Notice they couldn't outline.
No, they did. They did get specifics. They pointed to the fact that Joe Biden had brought home all the female hostages. Notice all the hostages Trump brought home were men. Joe Biden got the females freed before Trump became president. They did bring that up.
In Gaza?
Yeah. The ones that Hamas was holding.
I don't remember that.
I'm just telling you what came out. They claim 120 of them out. Look, this is what came out in the show. So I'm just, because Trump brags about stuff, you're going to always remember Trump's accomplishments more than Biden. Because Trump is going to pat himself on the back for everything he does. Even shit he does not accomplish, he's going to pat himself on the back for. So you're going to always remember more of what Trump does than Biden, because he makes a huge spectacle over it. But I got to move it on.
All right, have a good night, Tim.
You too. Always thank you, Jeremy. Real quick in the comments, Handsome Stubby Fingers says Tim needs to get a key and a golden mill for his hard blessed work. Wow, I like that. And Tim needs to be on the Midas Touch Network. Wow, I definitely have no problem stopping by the Midas Touch Network 10 times over, and Charlie Kirk needs a bag of shit. So I'm assuming you're no fan of Charlie Kirk offering to give him a bag of shit. Come on now, the guy's passed away now. Be kind to Mr. Kirk. But thank you. The Midas Touch Network. Big platform on social media. I would absolutely go with it. I forgot the name of one of the guys that's on there, but I've met Sync of the Young Turks, because their platform was huge, but Midas, there's a few left-wing platforms that are bigger than the Young Turks now, but they were big for a while. Handsome Stubby Finger says, would somebody get this guy a bag of rat shit? Please, this dude, oh my God. So you didn't like Jeremy, huh, Charlie? Oh my God. Thank you, Terry Hayes. Let me go back to the bots. Tap the screen. We're almost at that. Get your gallon up to 50,000. He wasn't kind to Martin Luther King. Well, one of the things that I don't understand, and I'll go back to the box. Tap the screen, get us on up to 50,000. We can certainly make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. This is a MAGA friendly program. We don't block, ban, or censor. If you like or prefer this type of dialogue, open dialogue from all sides of the aisle, nobody gets blocked, banned, or censored for their commentary. You can be critical of anyone, including yours truly. If you favor that, follow the program. If you happen to be watching on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, and if you watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. We're here most weekdays. Look, the notion that these men are martyrs, I'm going to say personally, I believe that George Floyd's death did spur more accomplishments than Charlie Kirk's. I really do believe that. What Charlie Kirk was doing was beneficial while he was alive. What George Floyd did, what happened to George Floyd, a lot of beneficial things happened after he passed away. I don't know anything beneficial well, there are some conservatives signing up to vote and, get involved with Turning Point USA. That happened because of Charlie Kirk's passing. How well that'll benefit America, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm assuming it'll benefit the conservative movement to some degree. Let me go back to the box. We'll continue on with the one and only Dencal. Good evening, Dencal. Welcome to the program. George Floyd via AI 2028 for president. No, we don't want George Floyd for president. Not like that. Dencal, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, martyrs, what say you?
I don't know if I would consider either one a martyr. I think I believe that martyrs do things that they kind of know is going to send them to the upper room, and they do it anyway. Like I believe, like Martin Luther King, he said, "Look, I'm not going to meet. I'm not going to
get there with you. Yeah, I may not get there with you, but we're going to make the promise land."
Right. Mother Teresa, like those people who, like, I know that there's people out there that are going to come at me for my beliefs.
So President Trump could be a martyr.
He doesn't have any beliefs, so I don't know how he would be.
He believes this nation should have secure borders. Women should be protected in sports. He does have beliefs. He believes.
But those are not realistic, like martyrdom type ideas. Like I believe that women should only be, should.
How about this one? He believes in protecting the sanctity of the unborn. So because of President Trump and his Supreme Court justices, there's probably going to be tens of thousands of babies that come to life that would have probably been otherwise terminated.
Well, maybe if he had started out his life and career like that, maybe. But we know for 60 years of his life, he was not pro-life.
Yeah. But he evolved and changed his tune. Does he not get credit?
He evolved. When we take into consideration everything he said and did within the religion, it's not a religious belief he has. He's not a Christian. He just told you the other day, I don't even think like I can get into heaven. Like heaven on earth is for me right now. And he doesn't know that all you have to do, according to Christian theology, is repent.
Well, President Trump, he views apologizing as a sign of weakness, even if it's apologizing to God. In the comments real quick, Marcus Nisby says, use a good house. He said, I'm a house. Am I coming across as a house Negro?
No, dude, you got to, look, I know it's a super chat. You got to kind of comment on it, but you don't have to indulge.
I have to ask. I get my African Americans that have freed themselves up north telling me I'm hanging around with Master down south.
What conversation we've had makes you a house nigga? Like I don't get it. We're talking about theology and what makes a martyr. How does anything make?
Well, you know where it comes from. People who when YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, some of these platforms recommend the channel and they happen to stumble upon it real quick. They see an African American with a MAGA hat in, and they kind of make the judgment based on that. They see the MAGA hat, they see a black man, any black man with a MAGA hat behind them must be a sellout for the white race. They usually make that judgment in 2 seconds. Because I've had a lot of people.
But that's crazy because if it sent you to my For You page, I might hear something that I think is kind of suspect, but I'm going to listen a little bit more to kind of get a little context. And it doesn't take you long to kind of correct that context. It's not all, you just not up here saying, you know, Trump is the greatest ever. You're not out here like blaggers saying, you know, black people, their problems are all their own. They need to get their shit together. And I don't know what's wrong with them after them 400 years of slavery. I don't know why they acting the way they do. Like, you're not doing that. So when people do that kind of shit, it's just...
Yeah, it happens. I've had...
Listen to your page for 2 seconds and says that you a sellout. You know, they don't know who you are. And so I would just advise them to just tune in for another 5 minutes. And then maybe they change their mind.
Well, not if gangster grandma's talking. They ain't gonna never change their mind. Let me ask you, too. Somebody in the comments too was talking about what did he say? This has to be some sort of a joke. You know, I got Charlie Kirk and George Floyd say that there's no similarities. Do you see any similarities at all in either one of these guys, other than the fact that they died in an awful way?
I think the best thing for you to do is, instead of just showing their pictures, you should probably have a brief definition of what a martyr is, and maybe people can make their own judgments on like how it benefits. You know, people think of George Floyd, okay, yeah, he lived in the hood. He didn't have, you know, the greatest, life and everything, but he was still a human being. And his death created a movement, not him.
Yeah.
The difference with them looking at Charlie Kirk is they saying he used to run around saying he was Christian all the time while he was talking shit about every other race, creed of people in the world, even down to his last days when he said he could not support the Zionist Israel anymore. And they had started pulling their funding from him. They can't see none of that. All that they say was sometimes when he was having his little meetings at the colleges, he would claim that he was a Christian. When he didn't propose any Christian value, he said what the woman should do. They should be barefoot and pregnant at the house. They should only go to college to meet a man that's going to be successful. But then he married a woman that was already richer than he was. She already was an established woman. She was never barefoot and, just chilling in the kitchen.
Yeah, it sounds like Charlie Kirk favored the American mindset of yesteryear, where it was a man's world, as James Brown would say. And not only that, but probably there was some sort of supremacist domination as well. But men ruled the family, and white men ruled the world. I mean, it sounds, this is what some folks are saying. It sounded like that's the type of environment that Charlie Kirk may have favored. But did you hear yourself, in your opinion, anything that Charlie Kirk said that you view as racist?
When you pick out, from my perspective, 4 of the most accomplished Black women in the country, a Supreme Court justice, one that was the wife of the president of the United States, and that doesn't mean she's accomplished, but we know that she has multiple Ivy League degrees.
You remember Michelle Obama?
Yes.
What he says? Charlie Kirk said something about Michelle Obama. I never heard that one.
Yes, he said Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Oh yeah, he said they didn't have the education or something.
Joy Reid, and he said the other young lady from California, Sheila Jackson Lee. All of them went to Ivy League schools. And he said he points them out. He could have pointed out Beyonce. He could have pointed out Cardi B. He could have pointed out people and said that they're not. He picked out the highest levels of Black intelligence with Black women, and he said they don't have the brain power and they stole jobs for deserving white men. I don't know how anybody else can view that.
And I see Monkey Juice in the comments says Charlie Kirk was he said that Charlie Kirk himself is not a college graduate. So, I mean,
he dropped out of a community college in his first semester. But he's up there telling these other people that certain black people, not just certain black people, but the ones at the highest levels are not qualified because they don't have the brain power. Look, I don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand what he's saying. He said that they should have never passed the Civil Rights Act because black people was less violent before it. No shit, we was less violent because we couldn't fucking learn. We couldn't fucking own weapons. We couldn't do anything. No shit. Yeah, we was out there scrambling, getting picked up, sent to jail, being put back in fields, picking cotton again, because they never got rid of the 13th Amendment that said, hey, as long as you get arrested, we can still impose slave labor on you.
Yeah. I mean, and not only that, but one of the things I didn't like when he said that blacks were less violent before they had civil rights is that whites were more violent. I mean, because as a white person, you could do anything you wanted to a black and get away with it.
What the hell was a black person gonna do? What the hell was a black person gonna do back then? We couldn't own weapons. We could barely read. No shit, we was less violent.
Yeah.
But guess what? Along the way, we learned from the best of them.
So let me just run a second topic by you real quick. Did you hear Stephen A?
No, I didn't. I mean, I've heard what he said here and now. I mean, people need to understand that he wants to be a political figure in the future.
Okay. Well, you think he wants to be a politician?
Yes.
Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, he said it already.
I don't know if I heard that. I thought he said he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, no. It's the reason why he's having these discussions with political figures, because he's placing himself in that, in that arena.
So is he trying to be a Republican then?
I think he wants to try to play both ends, so he has to appeal. In
this environment, shit, I'm having a hard time just talking to both sides without getting cussed out. I cannot imagine trying to run while working. That ain't gonna work in this environment.
It's a whole bunch of people right now that's like, when they want to make a point, they be like, listen to what Stephen A. said. It's sort of the same way they was doing with Candace Owens before. Remember when they would always throw Candace in our face? Candace, she's so articulate. She knows what she's talking about. Now that she talking shit about Jews,
now they don't like her. Yeah, you know something? Because I'm always cautious. If I saw a white person only saying negative things about the white community, it would, when I see black people only talking about the black community, no, you ain't playing both sides. You attacking and that's what oftentimes black conservatives do, is they're real critical of the black community, but they don't say nothing about the white community. Like, I think what is his name? Charleston White. He was he was constantly always getting attacked. He was always criticizing the black community. Well, he just recently criticized Charlie Kirk, and all of a sudden, a lot of the whites that were favoring him, now they don't like him anymore. And he said, he said, you guys were totally okay when I was saying this stuff about everybody else. It's your turn now.
And look, I don't like him as a representative, but I like the fact that he is showing. And he is not afraid to show their hypocrisy to their face. He's like, yo, when I was doing nothing but trying to, incentivize the black population to do better and what we were doing wrong, everybody was all on my page supporting me. Now that I said, Charlie Kirk ain't give a shit about us either. Now you mad at me. So I kind of appreciate that. I appreciate what Tucker Carlson is doing, as hard as it is for me to say that.
What is he doing?
The same thing as Candace Owens is doing.
Oh,
they're telling the truth
about
that
Israel
controls our government.
I don't, something to me, do you really even need Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson, anybody to tell you the truth about Israel? It's pretty obvious when just about the whole rest of the world.
I don't need it, but I think a lot of people that they appeal to, a lot of the white people that they appeal to, need to hear it, because they somehow seem to believe that Jews are like, they like white people. They don't. If you go to Israel as a Christian, they spit on you.
I ain't never heard that before.
They have a totally different understanding of how, you know, Jesus and everything. Just put in there Christians versus Jews. Like I
had to play that off air because I'm sure that TikTok or YouTube wouldn't like that.
Right.
You're gonna have the Jews turn all the lights out in here.
Look, the Netanyahu does not like Christians. But somehow people have got it in their head that like somehow we gotta be on their side as Christians because of some biblical shit when they don't believe the same shit as we do.
I haven't heard all of this. I mean, listen, I know that.
I know, and that's amazing because I know you deal with these people all the time. All you have to do is put in your search engines. Do Jews spit on Christians in Israel? They do not. They have a totally different. They don't believe in all of the stuff we believe in. As Jesus died on the cross, his son, you know, he killed his only begotten son for all of the, you know.
That's why I'm not. And see, that's just more shit. Why I'm not religious. Nothing causes more dissension and more conflict in religion. I mean, look, all over shit that nobody can really prove. This is why I'm not very religious for that stuff like that.
And I would just say this, and I know it's not a good topic on TikTok and everything, but the people that know are looking at Trump and saying, why the hell are you supporting this motherfucker to the ends of the earth when we got video of Netanyahu saying, I control America's military. I tell them what to do.
Wait.
And he has actually done it.
Netanyahu is on video saying, I control America's military.
Yes.
I actually want to see that. I got to move it on. My computer's freezing, and I'm trying to get it to work. Some of the shit you said, I actually want to see. But when did he say that? I mean, he ain't been in office that long.
He said that years and years ago, but he said it recently too. Wow. He was the one who made us go into Iraq. He told us.
I know that. I got that. I've seen that on video.
Yeah, he came to America and he told us in front of Congress, if we get rid of Saddam Hussein, then it will fix all of this shit in the Middle East. And that's what we did. That's what it did.
There's got to be some reason. Are they paying us? I mean, there's got to be some reason why America is just bending over for this one little country. There's got to be more to it.
Money is the biggest part.
So they are paying
now,
us.
There are some people like Ted Cruz and some of the other people who said their whole goal in joining Congress and getting into politics is to support Israel.
Yeah, that's what.
Not America first. None of that. All of the shit we went through to not send money to Ukraine, we just sent $20 billion to Argentina.
Yeah.
They don't do shit for us.
No. Why do you think Trump did that?
Because he don't give a shit about his MAGA base. He's got them. They're going to go along with it. He's doing it because somewhere in the future, there will be a Trump Tower in fucking Argentina somewhere. Yeah, this is all about his personal advantage. It's got nothing to do with war. Argentina can't do shit to us. We don't they don't make nothing that we trade.
So it's just all ego. And by the way, I think they named some shit after him in Israel already.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. I would too if I was over there. But you got that Tim up there. What's his name? The guy you got on the screen.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz. You got that when he said that?
Yeah, I got it up there. I got to move it on. I'll go ahead and play it. But
Okay, and I know there's one more. There's another female. I don't know if she's a senator or House of Representative, and she was saying on the House floor, she said there's no other greater country than United States, and she said except Israel. Now this is a United States Congresswoman.
Wow. Yeah, I don't favor them wearing the Israeli flag as lapel pins and all of that. I don't think any U.S. Congressperson should be wearing an Israeli flag lapel pin, and a lot of them were. I don't look. It does seem like some of them. I even heard some of them got dual citizenship.
Yes, a vast majority of them have dual citizenship. And just one last thing I just want to ask you is like, why do MAGA people stay America first and just let this dude spend money all over the fucking world in fucking the Middle East? He's sending money to fucking Argentina. We all said we didn't want that shit to happen.
I can answer that pretty easy. I'll answer it on the other side, but didn't Cal? Appreciate you coming through. All right, moving on. Yep. And by the way, in regards to his question, the answer is simple. I had somebody tell me this, and it definitely reigns true. That 99, always bet on Trump 99% of the time it'll turn out right. I had somebody tell me that. Always bet on Trump 99% of the time it'll turn out right. In other words, even if what Trump is doing now does not look right, or if you're questioning it, just know that Trump is playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. And eventually it will turn out right for America. Whether it's sending money to Argentina, like my last guest was talking about, or, dealing with Qatar or Qatar, whatever the name of that country is. Always bet on Trump. It will turn out right in the end. There's a lot of folks on the MAGA side that actually has that mindset. Now, as I stated before many times in the program, I'm not saying that MAGA somehow, some way thinks of Trump like he's God, but the mindset is similar. Just like in the case of your deity, whoever you have faith in, your God, you tend to believe no matter how things look right now, as long as I have faith in the Lord, it will turn out right. Whatever he's doing it for a reason, and that reason will be good for me. And that's kind of the same mindset that a lot of MAGA has, is that no matter what he's doing right now, I understand as long as I have faith and I stand by his side, that eventually what Trump is doing is going to turn out right for the country. So that's why they're not bitching about Argentina or maybe the Epstein files or any of that stuff, is that, look, it looks questionable right now, but my money is on Trump, and eventually it's going to turn out that he was right. What does the hat say? I haven't had to put it up in a while, but I used to hold this one up that Trump was right about everything. If you just follow him, eventually it's going to come out right. A lot of people believe that. Same thing even right now with the 2020 election that has almost been 6 years ago. There are still plenty of people who believe the truth about the 2020 election will eventually come out. A lot of people who still believe that. Terry Hayes, thank you for the support. Appreciate it. So look, so that's why President Trump can do things that look suspicious or don't look right, and MAGA don't say anything. It's because eventually it's going to come out right in the end. A lot of people believe that. But real quick, before we continue on, this was what we were talking about in regards to America seeming to blindly help Israel. Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson.
In Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it for you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the...
It's in Genesis. So you're quoting a Bible phrase, you don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two,
hold on. Hold on. You're a senator, and now you're throwing out theology, and I am a Christian, and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And
what does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But what, hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of
referring
Abraham.
to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes. Growing up in Sunday school,
Now, I would tell you something. In my humble opinion, he should literally be impeached for saying some shit like that. That's about as anti-separation of church and state as you can get. I mean, that is a sitting senator indicating that he is making decisions potentially based on what's in the Bible. And MAGA hasn't said much of anything about that. That makes him look really bad. MAGA hasn't had a lot of complaints about that at all. That's way worse than protecting the integrity of women's sports. And that guy, protecting the integrity of women's sports, keeping transgender out of women's sports, that doesn't affect even 0.0001% of Americans. What he is talking about could have us either getting involved in military conflicts or having acts of terror bestowed upon us because we're blindly running along with Israel. Because keep in mind what Netanyahu did to the people in Gaza. Whether you agree or not, the fact is most of the world believes that what Netanyahu did amounts to a war crime. And the only way he could have done that is with America's blessing. So the people in the Middle East know that even though they may not like Netanyahu and not like Israel, the United States was equivalent to somebody putting the bullets in Netanyahu's gun. Because Netanyahu could not have done all of that damage without America. So if someone hates Israel, hates Netanyahu, and they want to take revenge, America makes just as good of a target because everything he did was done with the blessing of America. And then you got guys on TV like this saying this kind of stuff. So I don't understand how MAGA didn't have anything to say about this. I just don't. In fact, I don't understand why the Democrats did not make more of a fuss. This is not a very old clip, by the way. This is only a few months old. This is not that old. I believe maybe the summer. I think this was maybe late spring, maybe summer. This is not an old clip. But I do believe that Ted Cruz, when you say something like this, they need to start basically trying to kick you out of office because you're now governing from the Bible. You shouldn't be making decisions based on what's in the Bible. That's my opinion, though. The Israelites of the Bible predated these Israelis by 3,500 years. They aren't the same. I'm not going to go and, make a decision on who is who. I'm just simply saying no American politician should be citing biblical passages for why they're doing what they're doing. Separation of church and state. Can you imagine having a senator or a congressman talking about what's in it? Like Ilhan Omar up there in Minnesota. Can you imagine her saying she's doing something because that's what the Prophet Muhammad told her to do? Can you imagine how apeshit the right would go with that? If she was talking about doing something because, the Prophet Muhammad in the Quran says this is what you should do. That's insane. And I don't care if this is a Christian-based nation. You don't run the government like that. To me, it's wrong. I'm just going to simply say to me, it's wrong. Ted, the kicker is they committed the world's biggest identity theft, and they're not the P. I don't get what you mean by that. Marjorie Taylor Greene swears like a trucker. Okay, let me go back to the box. Tap the screen. T-Mac, yeah, that's the point. Thank you for seeing my point. But yeah, if Ilhan Omar started talking about the Quran, because she's a Muslim woman, if she started talking about the Quran is why she's doing what she's doing, the folks on the right would go ape shit. They would go ape shit. And yet they'll tell you we're for freedom of religion. But they would go ape shit if you had a sitting congressman or congresswoman or senator talking about they're using a non-biblical teachings for what they're doing. It just shouldn't be, a sitting senator shouldn't be saying that. But anyway, going back to the box, he just for America. I don't quite get that one. don't know what I hit there, but tap the screen, folks. Get me on up to 60,000. Help out the program. Hit the lights on up. We'll go to Lori E. Good evening, Lori. Welcome to the program. Democrat Richie Torres from California is an open Zionist. Why didn't they go apeshit? People pick and choose. People are picking and choosing what they're going apeshit for. Lori, good evening. Lori, are you there? Okay, apparently Lori is not there. They will be saying they want their country back. Yeah, they would be saying that if didn't they just pass a law recently talking about Sharia law cannot be imposed in Texas or something like that? In Dearborn, Michigan, they're playing the prayer siren or whatever it is. It comes out of the mosque and is telling the Muslims in the community it's time to pray. They're going apeshit about that. You know, I can't get sleep. This horn is going off a few times a day, telling the Muslims to pray. But meanwhile, you got a sitting senator saying that shit. And there, no question about it at all. No outrage about it at all. I really think there's some hypocrisy in that. Going back to the box, we'll continue on with one of my subs, King Finn. Trump ain't shit, says Will G. Good evening, Will. Welcome to the program. King Finn, good evening. King Finn, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. You got a mad echo.
Good evening, yes. Good evening, thank you. Thank you for the fanfare. Fuck all that. Hey, man, you know you on some bullshit, right?
What did I do?
Man, that bullshit you had earlier about Charlie Kirk sitting with a picture next to that beautiful black brother, you know you on some bullshit.
You're
right?
telling me the picture of Charlie Kirk sitting next to George Floyd?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I need to know. Elaborate. I don't know. Elaborate.
Man, you know damn well the two they should never be side by side next to each other, even mentioned in the same conversation. Charlie Kirk was taken out literally, I would, in my opinion. Matter of fact, it ain't even my opinion. He was taken out by the same bullshit he lived and talked. You live by the door, live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's the fuck happened to Charlie Kirk.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that because of what Charlie Kirk said, Terry Hayes, appreciate it. Are you saying because of what Charlie Kirk, the way he debated, that's free speech, King?
No, that's not. You know what? You can miss me with that free speech bullshit because you sit on here every day and you be like, "Oh, it's free speech." Yeah, but at the same time, we have a massive amount of people who are on TikTok and in everyday life who use this app to go around and bitch and snowflake and moan about the fact that that man went around the college campuses and steamrolled kids into believing his racist ideology and his bullshit views. Everything that dude said was bullshit. I don't care. I'm not gonna sort no games with you. I'm not gonna fluff with you. Fuck him. Okay, first of all, let me say that. Fuck him. Okay, he said some shit he shouldn't have said. Maybe it was God who came down and helped him out.
Well, and I'm resetting my lights on my computer, but you don't actually believe what Charlie Kirk said made him worthy of what happened to him, do you?
You know,
really?
I don't think it should have happened. I think he probably should have been in jail, but that's just my belief. But, you know, isn't it ironic?
What did Charlie Kirk do to make him worthy of being locked up?
Well, let me ask you this. Right now, like I just told you, there are hundreds of people going to other people's lives to bitch, piss, and moan about the situation. Like today, I was in a live earlier with somebody who had a picture up saying that Charlie Kirk, you know, hasn't said anything racist in a month.
Oh my God!
And I'm talking about from the time he put something up, from the time probably about to maybe, I don't know, an hour before he went down, all he got in there was people upset about the fact that he even said that. So Charlie Kirk sparks a racist movement for people to be upset about him getting arguably the justice he deserved.
How is he getting justice? The man got murdered. I think you're going overboard with this. I think you're wrong on this.
I don't think I am. But you put him up there next to a man who literally got no justice.
I don't see how Charlie Kirk received justice.
Right? Justice for that clown.
Charlie Kirk, okay.
They're talking about letting Derek Chauvin out. They're
that's insane. That's insane.
They're trying to get Derek Chauvin out.
Yeah,
there are people that walk on this app right now that say, "Oh, yeah, Big Floyd, George Floyd, he died from a fentanyl overdose." Even though every time they say that, we can bring up the medical report, the autopsies that showed that he passed away from being choked out like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to defend anybody that says that George Floyd died of fentanyl or some of this other stuff, but at the same time, I'm not going to agree with what you're saying either, that Charlie Kirk's rhetoric is justice served. The guy didn't deserve to die. What happened to Charlie Kirk was wrong. You do think what happened to him was wrong, don't you?
Yeah, it was wrong.
Why the hesitation?
It was wrong.
Why the hesitation?
Because I don't feel like him saying that my children need to be unsafe at school because some crazy ass white dudes run around with a blicky. I don't think that's safe either. I don't think it's acceptable for him to say, "Oh yeah, we probably should have a couple of unalivings just to save our Second Amendment rights," even though just the other day Trump and his administration are saying we're going to take away, pew-pews from people. But that's okay right now, though, right?
No.
He went over to Israel. He went over to Israel, and Netanyahu literally stood there for almost an hour and a half and deep-throated him, telling him how he was so great. How he's just the best guy in the land. He's such the president. They are literally right now trying to bring a bill up for Congress for them to be able to bring a Nobel Peace Prize so they can nominate this orange shit stain and get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, I will say this. I think the cat's out of the bag is that a lot of folks realize that with Trump, flattery will get you everywhere. So if you butter him up, it's going to make him very favorable to you. And that's what I think Netanyahu's doing. I'm really surprised Vladimir Putin ain't done that yet, because I believe that's how Zelensky got Trump to change his mind with the Ukraine. When President Trump went to the Pope's funeral and he sat down across from Zelensky, I believe Zelensky learned that you just going to have to be soft with this guy. This guy, you can get what you need out of him if you just flatter him. I'm really surprised Putin ain't done that yet.
Because Putin know he a fucking clown. You know why? Putin know he a clown. The rest of this damn country knows he's a clown. The only people who don't believe he's a clown is these ignorant MAGA motherfuckers who steadily drinking the Kool-Aid. Trump's the greatest president of our era, our time. Trump is an orange shit stain who's literally taking this country into the fucking garbage can.
Well, let me be clear. Let me say something. I don't think that when they're sitting around flattering Trump like that, my guess is all of the Republicans that are doing that don't believe it themselves. But at the same time, if you know you can get wealth, power, all sorts of respect by doing it, a lot of people are going to do that. My guess is there's a whole lot of people that are members of the Republican Party, members of Congress, that do not favor what President Trump is doing. You may see them writing books in the future after Trump is no longer a threat. But right now they feel that as long as we flatter this guy and roll with this guy, it's going to be beneficial to us. That's why they doing it.
And that's the problem with this damn country. The more and more that these rich keep getting richer, the worse and worse we get off. And it's a literal train. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the snake that continues to bite its own tail? I forgot what that's called. However, so I'd like to go back to this bullshit Ted Cruz said. Even though there are probably about seven passages in the Bible that say we should be protecting Israel, what he failed to mention is, number one, the King James Bible is not written by God. It's not written by Jesus. And the fact that any asshole would sit anywhere and tell somebody that we, a whole other country, need to protect Israel is hot ass garbage. Bibi Netanyahu is a fucking war criminal. His whole administration is a bunch of war criminal ass left duck, lame duck ass motherfuckers. And the only reason that this failed peace treaty that he could, because it's not a peace treaty and it's damn sure not a ceasefire, because they've already today.
Somebody in the comments said the same thing. Has Israel already broken the ceasefire?
Yes, they have. Yeah. And again, I'm going to stress this to you. Anybody saying that and saying that we need to help Israel do anything, are we not thinking about the fact that Hamas and the Palestinian people are not the same? Hamas,
no, they're not.
Were there Palestinians in Hamas? Yes, there were. Were Hamas, were they hiding out in, Gaza, a couple other places? Yes, they were. But do you remember when they bombed Doha at that ceasefire?
In Qatar, in Qatar, yeah.
Who was there? Yeah, in Qatar. Yeah, they bombed Doha. They bombed it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They
Trump made Netanyahu apologize for that. Yes.
Get the fuck out of here. Do you think that old motherfucker cared? Man, listen. Y'all forgetting about the fact that Bibi Netanyahu paid Hamas also to keep the shit going so he could stay in power. There's a story.
I don't know about all that. What?
Tim, I need you to look this shit up because I can come with receipts, okay? Look the shit up.
Wait, you believe that Benjamin Netanyahu was paying? Wait, hold on, hang on. You believe that Benjamin Netanyahu was paying members of Hamas to keep the attack going?
He bankrolled the shit years ago. Yes, he was paying Hamas to keep the shit up. Yes, he was paying them cash money, checks, in a briefcase for months and years. He paid them to keep the shit going.
I need to see the receipts. I need to see the receipts on something like that. Bro. That's crazy.
I'm not with no bullshit I don't know. I'm telling you shit I've seen, shit I've looked up. It was a 60-minute story about the shit. Bibi Netanyahu, before he got put back in last time, started right after he got put back in, he started paying these motherfuckers to do it because his crooked ass, corrupt administration is the problem in the first place. That's why they bombed Doha, because it was about to be a fucking ceasefire. So they don't have a reason to go ahead and finish them off like Trump said. That's why the fuck they did.
If what you're saying is true, where Netanyahu would pay Hamas, what is the goal? Just to get them to do this so you can just wipe out the Palestinians?
Yeah, well, what do you think? Why do you think that they're looking to Trump to come over and help? They're looking at Trump, and they called up Jared Kushner so they can do exactly what Trump said. They can make it the Midwest Riviera, the Middle Eastern Riviera. Because they're not thinking about the fact that all them people are walking back into Gaza. Because if you look on Al Jazeera and you look at the rest of the world news, they're not driving back in. There's a drove of people walking back. The idea that, in my opinion, one thing I can see them doing, especially as, they went ahead and started, going back to what they was doing in the first place, like dropping them left and right, and so that they could finish the fucking job.
It's like 2 million, but it's like 2 million of them still alive in Gaza. Israel, they can't wipe out 2 million people.
Why the fuck not?
Shit.
You don't think it's possible?
Adolf did it, but you would need some kind of expedited program like Adolf was using, like Auschwitz or something. You need something. To take out 2 million people, it takes that takes effort to do that.
So maybe like the stuff that America would give him. You think that's possible? Makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just don't want to. Look, I'm no fan of Netanyahu, but
I know.
I can't imagine. You're putting him as a really evil person.
You're fluffing now. You're reverting back. You starting to sound a lot like MAGA to me, Tim. Every time somebody presents you with real motherfucking ideas, real motherfucking truths, you start to, and then you revert back to my red hat people. Damn well. Look up Bibi Netanyahu, man. That motherfucker, he's a demon. Just like Trump. His first and second in fucking charge are demons. His first and second in charge have had speeches about how they're talking about clearing these people out. This is not a joke. This ain't a game. Why do you think they got that orange demon coming over there? That's just like, Trump, he's not taking a salary. He took a $400,000 jet from Qatar. He's still not doing that. not like that, but we're building Whiskey Pete said we're building a base here in Qatar, for Qatar so that we can come over and train them. When's the last time we had a foreign base on these United States on the land here?
I had a couple of veterans on. Apparently, that's actually quite normal that we train folks how to use equipment that we're selling them in America. Apparently, that's happened several times before.
What did Whiskey Pete say again? Because Whiskey Pete said we're building them a base. Not that one that's in, I forget, I think it's Shepherd. No, not Mountain High. Whiskey Pete said we're building them a base.
We're not building. We're allowing them to use something that already exists. But we're selling them F-15s, and we're going to be teaching them how to use the F-15s in Idaho. So there will probably be a few of them that are either going to be pilots or going to be training their own people once they learn how to fly the craft from over here. But I don't think they're not getting a base where they're going to be walking around and MPs and all of that kind of shit. They're not getting an actual base.
Can I ask you something, though? When's the last time we trained pilots from another country? What happened?
Well, shit, 9/11. I mean, September 11th. I mean,
I'm just saying, you never forget, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, right. So fuck off with that shit. Also, I just want to make it known, all of this is coming on the heels of, about 7 years ago, maybe 8. Well, it's 2025, so 8 years ago. You remember, Qatar wasn't an ally of ours.
No, in fact, the leader was on the FBI's terror watch list.
Sure was, and Trump did a whole speech about how Qatar, they're a terrorist group. So why are we taking a plane? And how is he making $1 billion?
I don't have any. I mean, Trump says a lot of things that don't age well. He said if you plead the fifth, it means you got something to hide. Then suddenly he's pleading the fifth. When Obama was Obama was president, he said that any president that tries to meet with Russia doesn't deserve to be president. I mean, he says a whole lot of things, but then when it's happening under his watch, he has a totally different opinion. But he's made a lot of comments like that have not aged well.
Ain't that funny? I find that real funny that, it's okay once he gets his $1 billion. It's just like that deal he did in India for that Trump golf course over there. He's taking care of the American people, but for some strange reason, we don't seem to see it. Ain't no Doge checks came out. There are people walking around in masks and fucking military gear called ICE. I mean, he federalized police with the 287G. Like, what else? I mean, like,
but Trump did promise to give police immunity because we had several shows on it. So it ain't like he didn't promise to do it. I mean, he made it clear that if he becomes president, he wants to bring back stop and frisk, and he wants to give police immunity. I mean, he actually said both of those things several times. So, I mean, I guess he's kind of just following through. King, I do got to move it on, but promises made, promises kept, man.
I just want to say one more thing. Now you're going to run, but I'm going to tell you this. It's really funny how naturally everybody wants to say, oh, man, Trump's so great and Trump's going to do all of this shit. Yeah, okay, we'll see. Because he's federalizing people. So when the Dominion machines that super MAGA dude bought and the new election comes up, y'all better start calling y'all senators and tell them not to use the fucking Dominion machines, the Dominion machines. Because it's a super MAGA motherfucker that bought them, right? Yeah. He ain't got to relicense shit. So he's using the same software on the same machines. Don't be scared. Don't be worried about the poll watching.
Basically, what you said is our vote ain't even gonna matter in this next election.
Why not? Hey, at the same time, who's running ICE now, right? The ultra MAGA maggot, what's his name? Andrew Tutu or Tata. He's running ICE now. So it's gonna get tougher before it get better.
It's a smart strategy. Trump got some of the best and brightest working for him this time to make this shit happen.
Don't go out. Don't go out with me fluffing, man. I ain't trying.
No, I'm serious. If Trump wants to be a dictator, according to you, wants to be a fascist or whatever, he has some of the best and brightest working for him to make it happen. Look how much he's accomplished towards that direction in only 9 months. This is a good team of people working for him to get that implemented.
That's disgusting, man. That's what I'm saying, man. You got to stop with the MAGA, dog.
I gotta go. All right, King. Appreciate it.
Hold on. Now you gotta take you out. Yes, thank you. Have another good night, and we shall see you later, as I shall again Slay a MAGA bitch.
King Finn, everybody. That is King Finn. Looking in the comments, King Finn head is spinning, says Big Boss. It's not Trump, it's the playbook of Project 2025. I believe it. I believe it is hard to deny at this point that Project 2025 is real, certainly with President Trump actually tweeting out about it. When he said the other day he was going to go after Democratic programs and he was going to refer to whatever the guy's name of Project 2025 fame. So President Trump is using it now. Ed G, appreciate your holding, says, you're right. George Floyd lived by the sword and died by the sword. Now, my last caller said that about Charlie Kirk, but Ed G flipped it and said that George Floyd lived by the sword and died by the sword. I don't believe that George Floyd died by the sword. Archangel, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Just about at the TikTok cap goal. Somebody help your boy cross that threshold. Look at what he has done for America. Stop the haters. Please read the Bible. I don't know if you read the Bible, what is the Bible going to tell you about who has done what for America? June Duncan. I don't know. If you read the Bible, is it going to say that Trump has done a lot? By the way, is the Bible about doing a lot for just one country? I don't know. Is that what Jesus wants us to do? You know, God bless America and no place else. Appreciate that, Top Dog. Helping your boy get over the threshold. Thank you, Top Dog. In the comments, real quick, LJ, Biden had a ceasefire deal ready, but Trump met with Bibi Netanyahu behind closed doors and told him not to make the deal so that the war will continue. And you're saying, check that out. Has anybody heard that? That Biden had actually set up a ceasefire deal and Trump spoke with Netanyahu and got it to stop? Has anybody else heard that? Wow. And I see a lot of folks are saying that is true. Okay, I may be a little bit behind the tech. Wow, there's a lot of folks saying that. Look, at the end of the day, and somebody say it's literally what happens is take out the MAGA trash. Look, like I said, Trump definitely has the best and brightest in place this time for what he's trying to do. You may not favor what he's trying to do, but he is being exceptionally successful at what he's doing. Stopping Biden's border bill. Now you're talking about the ceasefire deal. It helps to make Biden go out looking like trash so that Trump can come in and look like a hero. That's what it looks like if Trump is doing all this stuff. Biden left the peace agreement for the next administration. Well, it didn't go down like that because there's no way Biden's peace agreement would have included doing what Israel did to Gaza for 9 continuous months. So whatever peace deal Biden made, that ain't the one that Trump got, because at the time that Biden made the peace deal, Israel didn't have all those Israel didn't have all those prisoners. Now, Gaza, the Hamas, they had all of their hostages. My guess is the 9 months of this war going back and forth, there are probably some of those Israeli hostages that were alive when Biden left office, and they're dead today. I mean, when you think about what Israel was doing to Gaza for the last 9 months, I'm really surprised. I'll be honest with you. When you look at how pulverized Gaza is, I'm really surprised Hamas kept any of those folks alive. Why? It barely was even a bargaining chip. If they're going to destroy 90% of the country or more, what are you keeping these people alive for? I'm really surprised that Hamas kept them alive. They're starving you. They're bombing you to oblivion. They obviously don't want these people back. Now, Netanyahu's on television said he wants the hostages back or whatever. Now he's talking about potentially getting violent if they don't get their bodies back, dead people. So you're gonna bomb them for not giving you dead people back? I don't know, but I will just say it's hard for me to look at what Israel did and walk away believing that they actually wanted their hostages back. You don't blow up the country at random and you don't even know where the fucking hostages are. It would not surprise me if Israel killed some of their own people. I mean, they weren't picking and choosing where to hit. They were hitting hospitals. They were hitting churches and schools. They hit everything. I think they said like 90% of the structures in Gaza are destroyed. So they hit everything. So you don't, and not to mention starving everybody. You also are not even letting food get in. That don't sound like you want your people back. Because when you're starving them, you got to assume your people ain't eating either. That doesn't sound like what Israel did had some kind of concern of getting their people back. I'm really surprised. I'll say this again. I'm really surprised Hamas had those people still alive. You're sending pagers and blowing up Hamas. You've killed virtually all of the leadership of Hamas, not to mention Hezbollah, not to mention the Houthis, not to mention folks in Iran. You've killed all of them off. You're starving the folks. You're killing kids and all. I don't. If I'm the leader of Hamas, I'm thinking like they're gonna take us all out anyway. Fuck it. Why are we keeping these people alive? That's what I would have been saying. Maybe I would have been viewed as evil, but I'm like, why are we doing this? I mean, they took out like 60,000 of us. Why are we even keeping these people alive? I don't get why Hamas kept them alive. I just don't, in my opinion. Any excuse to level, says Stephen. Yeah, I don't get it. And you're right. I think it says C Cap 11 says talk about something you know about. No, I don't know about this because it makes no sense to me at all. Look, if let's say I rob a bank or something like that, and the police surround the bank, I got 10 hostages inside. I need you to get me a helicopter. I need you to get me a car so I can get out of here. I'm gonna take 2 or 3 hostages, whatever. I need to get out of here. Call your police officer. If they start starving me or they don't send any food into the bank where I'm keeping hostages, and they just start literally shooting in the windows and shit, what's the purpose of me keeping the hostages alive? You don't care about them. I don't see any way, shape, or form how Israel appeared to care about their own hostages. So I'm really surprised they kept them alive. Anyway, going back to the box, Arshafine, good evening, one of my subs. We'll see if we can bring her up. If it does, it's all a smoke screen. Where are the Epstein files? Nobody, I don't think the right cares about those, Stephen. I really don't. Oh, Mike, good evening.
What up, Tim?
Shit. We're talking about martyrs, man. We're talking about martyrs. Now, I was talking about the comparison between George Floyd and Charlie Kirk, both having the same birthday, both going out in one of the most unfavorable of ways. Do you see either one of those men or perhaps both of those men as martyrs?
No, I don't.
Neither one?
I don't. Neither one. I don't see them as martyrs. And Dan Cal said it perfectly earlier. You don't plan. And neither one of them planned on that, right?
True.
Most martyrs have an idea that it's going to come down to they're going to sacrifice. They're going to give the ultimate sacrifice for what they believe in, or they will be a victim of violence because of what they believe in. George Floyd didn't wake up that day thinking that. Now, the irony about Charlie Kirk, and this is the sad part about his followers, and they get upset when people. Charlie, I told you he made the racism palatable.
What do you mean?
He's not a martyr. What I mean is the racism. The 1350 and the comments about black women and them stealing white men's jobs, which is
let me stop now. When you say 1350, I know 13% of the population 50, but explain it to the people because they don't know what 1350 means. I don't think.
Well, most of the races do because they follow them, right? They just believe that 13% of the population, which is black people, commit 15% of the crime, which is those two aren't even true, because they don't read, but they don't want to. Listen, black people have always been demonized in this country. Matter of fact, I would say this: any group that's ever come to this country has been demonized. Honestly,
yeah.
And if the Irish came here and the Italian came here, and they continue to hold on to their Irish roots and their Italian roots, and they didn't assimilate to whiteness, they would still be persecuted because they were different.
Yeah, but black people have assimilated. I mean,
no, to what? To what? Capitalism?
I mean, look, my name is not only capitalism, the way they dress. I mean, my name is Tim. That's obviously not an African name. I mean, most black people have assimilated name-wise. The religion is the same now. We speak English. I mean, we have assimilated.
Not by choice, Tim. Wait a minute. I don't know. Did you look at somebody in the room with you? Who the hell you look at over there?
You.
No. Listen, everything you just said wasn't a choice for us.
No, it wasn't a choice.
No, go back to chattel slavery. They didn't even want us speaking our language because they couldn't understand it. So they forced us. They forced the religion. They forced and then they turned around and said, "You motherfuckers can't read either. We don't want y'all to learn shit." The Italians and Irish didn't go through that. A lot of Asian, what they do is they assimilate because a lot of them, without their accent, they look white, so they can assimilate. They can fall into the norms of society without being persecuted every day by the way they look. I know that wasn't the topic, so I'm going to move back to what we're talking about. Charlie Kirk did what he did. He was used by the far right, because they wanted the young ones. We know that. That's been documented. He bought into it. I never hear about, the one thing I never heard from Charlie Kirk, and I want you or somebody in the chat to tell me, I never once heard from his fucking parents after he got unalived.
I don't know what his parents. I don't even know what his parents look like. They have not gotten a lot of camera time at all.
So wait a minute. This man was unalived. We can talk about his wife, but we can talk about Donald Trump. Did his parents even speak at the fuck? And again, I didn't watch the whole thing. Did anybody from his immediate family outside of Erica even speak at his services?
I haven't seen anything other than his wife, as you mentioned, Erica. Other than her, I haven't seen anything whatsoever about Charlie Kirk's family.
Now, why do I bring that up? Because either his parents have the same ideology, or they allowed their son, because remember, he's been doing this shit since he was in his teens. You gotta put it together. He's been doing this since he was in his teens. Either his parents had the same ideology, or they lost him at an early age to some people that took their son under their wing, taught him this ideology, and he perished for that ideology.
There's another avenue. William Himmler or whatever in the comments says his parents want privacy. They are a threat risk. What about the notion that his parents just don't want to be in the spotlight because people might be threatening them?
Again, Tim, what are his parents' name? They said they want privacy. Their son didn't allow them to have privacy. Their movement, that ideology doesn't allow you to have privacy, Tim.
I don't listen. What do you mean? I don't get that.
Charlie Kirk, according to the far right, Charlie Kirk is this martyr. He's this bigger than life thing, and he has been, and he's been all of these things for the Christian community and all of these things. You want privacy? Okay, fine. But you haven't been present at all. Haven't heard his parents say anything.
No.
I don't even know what they look like.
No.
And I'm not saying that against their parents. I'm saying the movement that he lost his life behind. Erica was up there. I never even heard them mention the parents' name. Maybe I missed it.
Well, I think because Erica was a big part of Turning Point USA. I mean, she was kind of doing what Charlie Kirk was doing before Charlie Kirk, if I'm correct. I mean, she was in the movement. That's why you're hearing it from her.
Yes, she was in the movement. And again, I'm saying this again. Neither one of them are martyrs. I think that people can say what they want about George Floyd, but the one thing, they can go back and look at his past and look at his record. But the one thing that I can say about George Floyd is we know none of that. That man didn't deserve to be unalived by the very people that are supposed to protect him.
By the police, yeah. So you
by the police.
But you also do believe that what happened to Charlie Kirk was wrong too, right?
Yeah, well, listen, yes, I do. I believe it was wrong. But here's the thing. This country, this is why I get so irritated, Tim. This country takes their violence and they want to place the violence in this country on everyone else but themselves. White America created violence in this country. It's been violent since from its inception, and they want to take what happened to George Floyd was George Floyd's fault, and what happened to Charlie Kirk was somehow the left and black and brown people. That's why HBCUs got threatened the day after. right?
Yeah.
All the violence that happens in this country gets pointed at marginalized communities. Hell, even when a pew happens, they're looking for someone to blame instead of trying to fix the issues. They must have been LBGT. They must have been trans. They must have been black. He probably didn't have a father. They probably didn't. They do all of that shit.
I'm laughing because you're right. You are correct. We do look. I mean, go ahead.
But when it's white violence and they can't back out of it, we get so hush hush. When it's white violence in this country, in the last 2 weeks, there's been violence in this country, and when you go look at the stories, white male, white victims, the minute it's black, they want to talk about it. And all I'm saying is this, Tim, you're never going to fix anything as if you're looking to blame somebody for the foundation that you created.
Mm.
We didn't create it. We couldn't even own pew-pews. We could own pew-pews. You know, like what you just said earlier, and which I agree with you. What Ted Cruz said, anyone else would lose. They tried to paint Barack as a Muslim. Yeah. They were calling him Muslim. They were calling him Muslim. He can't be president because he's not. Let
me ask you something. It's interesting. I want to ask you something. This right along the topic we're talking about, because you're right. The woman, John McCain snatched the mic out of the woman's hand because she said she couldn't vote for Obama because he's a Muslim. Did you see what happened to Vivek Ramaswamy running for governor in Ohio a day or two ago, where he was at a Turning Point USA event? And 2 young men stated, they went after him because he's not Christian, indicating that he should not get the position because he's not a Christian. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it, but that ain't the first time. Listen.
Vivek
has been, and Coulter told him in his face. I like what you're saying, but
and Coulter,
hey, you don't have the complexion for the protection, my guy.
Yeah.
So, but again, nobody talks about this shit. What they tell us is that we're delusional. We're rage baiting. We don't see what we see, and we don't feel what we feel, and we don't know what we know, even when we put it in their face.
Mm.
Where have you seen?
But let me ask you, this is a hell of a conundrum. I mean, okay, if the right do not favor Vivek Ramaswamy because of his Indian heritage, as you rightfully pointed out, and Coulter told him to his face, I can't vote for you because you're a Hindu and you're not white. Folks believe that J.D. Vance will be the successor of President Trump. The first lady would be all of that. She's not white, she's an Indian. So do you think
that ain't gonna happen?
So you think MAGA would have a problem with J.D. Vance because of his wife?
And I'm gonna tell you this: even if he did run, I would be. First of all, when's the last time you seen his wife?
She gone. You don't see her at all.
But he does have a chance because Jeb Bush's wife was Hispanic, right? So But again, and somebody just said in the comments, Dan, you're right. I was getting ready to say that when Nikki Haley started running, they started calling her by her birth name.
Yeah, Nimrata. Nimrata.
Yeah. Right. You know what I mean? And again, when his supporters go, you guys are just gaslighting. You guys are just this, that, and the third. Let me bring up something, Sam. When I talk about fascism and this 14 tenets of fascism, did you read or do you know that Dominion was sold? Right, voting company.
I just heard King Finn said that a minute ago to somebody from the Trump camp.
Yeah, Trump loyalists. Now. That's free and fair elections out the fucking window.
I told you I got a video on YouTube, 5 rights and 2 honorable mentions. You're going to lose under Trump, and it is aging beautifully. Everything I said, and I made the video before Jimmy Kimmel, and everything I talked about in that video is aging beautifully. Now they're telling reporters that if you don't agree to only answer questions that the Pentagon approves, and even Newsmax and Fox News is like, we're not going to sign that shit. I talked about losing the free speech right. He's all over that shit. You are going to lose free speech. Guaranteed.
Hey, he already, the flag is free speech. And he bragged about taking that First Amendment away, right?
Yeah.
And then here's the thing. And you mentioned the ceasefire earlier. I didn't hear, I heard that both sides were blaming each other because there were some unalivies in Hamas, and I just heard about the Hamas unalivies. I didn't hear about any Israelis being unalive. But every ceasefire for the past that I can remember started and ended the exact same way. They started and ended the exact same way. The other side blamed the other side. And I always believe that it's Israel, because I believe this is what Netanyahu wants. But let me say this, Tim, about Netanyahu and Trump. Were the 5 fathers of the mob families good men?
Maybe to their communities, but not as a whole.
As a whole, they weren't good men. They were terrible men, some worse than others. And the reason I say that, you've got Netanyahu, Viktor Orban, Putin, and Bibi. You got these 4 terrible men.
Who are the 4? Wait, Victor of Hungary, Netanyahu of Israel, Putin of Russia. Who's the 4th one?
Donald Trump. Now,
oh my God,
you laughed at me. You laughed at me, but you can look on your computer right now and find clips of Trump praising all of them.
Yeah. You
can find clips. Yes, sir. I
don't think I have one. No, I was talking to somebody. Go ahead. You said every dictator.
You get in trouble?
No.
Whoever it was.
No, I was talking to somebody asked me a question, but no. Listen, Trump favors dictators. Okay, you mentioned Putin, Victor of Russia. I mean of Hungary, and then of course you mentioned Netanyahu. But Netanyahu's not a dictator, though.
He's not. You don't think so?
Benjamin Netanyahu? No, he's not a dictator. You think Israel is under a dictatorship?
Well, here's what I mean when I say that. Let me restate that. He's an evil man.
That could be different.
He's an evil man. He's an evil man. He doesn't care about unaliving people. He doesn't care about those Israeli hostages. He could give a fuck about them.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that.
So again, that's why when I gave you the 5 mob bosses analogy, one may be worse than the other, but they're all bad men. They all do harm, and they all try to justify their harm by a persona that they give people like they're good men. What is the difference between the 5 men I just named? Not a goddamn thing. Not a damn thing. Trump is willing to prostitute himself because he admires them. They don't admire him. They just know that he is in charge of our military. They kiss his ass because they're not afraid of him. They're afraid of our military. They're not afraid of Trump. They're afraid of, and they know, like, again, he's bragging about blowing up another boat today.
He did. Right? They blew another one up. I forgot how many folks' lives were lost on it, but they did blow another one up.
If that boat was full of Russians, it would still be floating today.
So what are you doing? Just
that boat was
just bullying them down there?
Yeah. He literally has this thing, and we're watching it real time. People need to pay attention. They are dismantling this country. We are being sold left and right for a fee. And they'll listen. It's not, when you look at Kushner and some of the people that were close to him that are involved in his business deals, they're just not involved in the politics, but they're just as involved.
I'm telling you, MAGA still suggests he's the best president we've ever had. So they got to be seeing something you're not.
And again, if they do, they are. I don't give a fuck who it is. Black, white, green, a Martian, my mama, I don't give a fuck who it is. If you still think this man is a good man and you support this agenda and you believe he's a principled man and you believe he's a man with integrity, morals, and ethics and character, you like this kind of cruelty and you like this kind of person. So I have to put you over there. Sometimes you got to draw a line in the sand, Tim. Sometimes you got to go, listen, you have children. There's things that your children would do that you would disagree with to the point where you would be like, no, you can't bring your ass around here doing that shit.
Yeah.
Your children, right?
Yeah.
And again, Big Boss, the majority of America doesn't. The funny part is the people that did agree with Trump, I've heard more people saying they're off the Trump bandwagon about Israel than anything else.
Now JB2 in the comments, before I move it on from you, say this is not cruel. We should be Americans first, period.
And again, define American, and this is the thing, just say white first. Whoever said that, Actually, say it with your chest. See, this is the bitch shit about this movement. Say it with your chest. Make America white again. White first, because we're Americans too. So if it's about all of us, why are all of his policies, all of his executive orders attacking Americans?
Well, JB2 is in the comments saying he's a black man. Says, I'm black, fool.
Again. Oh, you and listen, if I said what I said, I meant what I said. If he agrees with this shit, then he's that shit too. It doesn't matter, Tim. Listen, he can say that. If it's about Americans first, then why have 350,000 black women lost jobs between April and July? Disproportionately higher than any other demographic that of unemployed people to this date. Why is that? Why can we point to things that are measurable in this community, in this country, that are harming marginalized communities that they are supporting? Show me it. Listen, if I was able to say 350,000 white men have lost their job in that same time frame and only 10,000, maybe you got me, but you don't.
Yeah.
But you don't. What? Listen, I just told you, and anybody can push back if they want, but look at the facts. Show me. You're talking about these witnesses. There is no evidence they've done anything.
9 months. It's only in 9 months. Someone's going to say you got to get it. Got time, Mike. I do got to move it on. Appreciate you coming through. Real quick. Go ahead.
Last word. Yeah. Real quick. We can get Tim up to 90,000, 90K before he leaves. And I just want to make sure you understand. You people understand. By the time you wake up, it might be too damn late.
I could not agree more. Appreciate it, man. And that is true, because that's the way I view it. A lot of things that, what do I always say on the program? A year ago from today, there's a lot of things going on in America right now that a year ago from today, if a liberal had said, if you elect Trump, this will be happening in a year, the right would have said is fear-mongering. There's a lot of things that are, so when he says wake up before it's too late, I actually kind of agree with that, because you don't realize the shit until it's right up on you. As I talked about, I don't think anyone on the Trump side of the aisle, my beloved MAGA, I don't think any of my MAGA viewers would have believed a year ago from today, that means October 2024, if a liberal had told you in October 2024, you're still going to be wondering what's in the Epstein files in October of next year. And by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be in minimum security, and they're not even going to tell you why that happened. Nobody on the MAGA side would have believed that. That would have been liberal fear-mongering. Obviously, sending the military into U.S. cities, I don't think MAGA would have believed that. Suggesting that reporters need to have their questions approved by the Pentagon before they can ask President Trump, MAGA would not have believed that. There is plenty of stuff. When my last caller said you need to wake up before it's right upon you, there are plenty of things that are happening that even MAGA would not have believed. Taking a jet from a nation that was once considered a state sponsor of terror, Qatar, I don't think MAGA would have believed that President Trump would have taken that a year ago. They wouldn't have believed that. So he is doing plenty of stuff that fits that narrative. Opening up, well, I won't say a military base, but even having Qatar training to fly aircraft in this country after what happened with September 11th. We trained Muslims how to fly planes in this country, and they used that training to kill us. You heard Bobart speak out about that in detail. Lorraine Bobart was really unhappy about that, citing that we've done this before and it turned out into disastrous results. There's a lot of things that are going on that I don't believe MAGA would have believed a year ago. They would have said it's liberal fear-mongering. Even the deportations, the way they're being handled, I don't think MAGA would have believed all of this, because it was about bad hombres, rapists and murderers and things like that. Obviously, Trump has went way above and beyond that. I don't think some of the TPS and all this, I don't think that even MAGA would have believed he would have went to these levels. Now, they're okay with it, but I do believe that if the liberals had said this is going to happen by October 2025, the right would have said you're just making up a bunch of shit. And there's a whole host of other things that are like that too, that President Trump is doing, such as now they have the right to stop you solely based on your language or skin color. MAGA wouldn't have believed that Trump would be okay with that. That's basically a clear-cut violation of your Fourth Amendment right. So some of this stuff is happening. Things are bad if people are now agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to be considered a bona fide conservative very long. All it takes is for Trump to get on the social media and start attacking her just once, and she's going to probably be in trouble. We'll continue on with the program. You got to understand, some said they would die for him, so they will never get it, says T-Mac. Yeah, I've had some people that actually have said that they would take a bullet for President Trump. So you're right about that. We keep winning and winning and winning. Trump is right. I'm getting so tired, says Dan. Hang on a second, Arsha. Hold on. Let me make something clear. When you say, Dan, you say that we keep winning and winning and winning. Trump is right. I'm getting tired. Let's be clear. Trump is winning and winning and winning. You ain't getting shit. You still work at your 2 jobs, whatever you're paying for groceries, you're still doing it. You're not winning anything. I always say it's like your favorite team winning a championship. And you got to go to work tomorrow. You might drink a couple beers and celebrate looking at them bragging and holding up the trophy, but you ain't won nothing. Your life ain't improving. His is. You just favor him and you're happy to see him win, and that's fine. Just like you're happy to see your favorite team win a World Series or the Super Bowl or something like that. But it doesn't change your life. Trump is winning. You aren't. Arsha, good evening.
Hey, Tim. How's it going?
I'm in the trenches as usual. I'm in the trenches.
I know, because you say some messed up shit sometimes. But,
give me an example. Give me an example. Let me have it.
Well, actually, it's not the way sometimes that you explain things, which you're correct, can be taken as you fluffing. Give me an example. Oh shoot. Was it Mike that was on earlier, and you were talking about how maybe Trump's people see it as being, you explain the Trump mentality.
Okay.
And I think not the Trump mentality, but the Trump people, the people that support him's mentality. And sometimes that makes you seem like you're fluffing, which you're generally just trying to explain the MAGA side.
That's a fair point.
Which can make you seem like you're fluffing, but you're just trying to articulate because MAGA isn't that great at it.
I'll accept that. And you're right. I've been talking to MAGA since Trump came down the Golden Escalator. I enjoy talking to MAGA. When I'm not on my program, I usually go to MAGA Lives. And you're right. I understand their mindset. But just me pointing out their mindset does not mean I'm fluffing. You're right. I agree with you.
But just because you're listening and you choose to, okay, Tim, this is why people get mad at you or upset and say you're fluffing, is because you can take you might hear all the bat crazy shit that all these people are saying, and you can spin it. You take your own words as an intelligent and articulate it in a way that they're not speaking that way. So it comes across as fluffing.
Well, how about this? How about this, Arsha?
They're not. Go ahead.
Team Carlton in the comments says you are making excuses for me like MAGA does for Trump.
No, I'm saying, Tim, you need to understand why people think you're fluffing.
People think I'm fluffing because they want to hear nothing but negative rhetoric about Trump no matter what. And I don't do that. If he deserves credit, I'm going to give him credit. I believe I mean, everything he does isn't bad. Okay,
Tim, groceries are up 2%. Beef is at its highest. Tell me what's been good for you. Tell me.
Well, what's good for me let's not take me specifically. When I say he's done good things, he ran on securing the border. Even the left wanted the border to be more secure than what Biden was doing. Trump has successfully done that. That's something he's done that's good.
I'm a guest, yeah.
You got a call going on?
No, I was just saying hi to a friend. So, okay. Yes, he said that he was going to go after undocumented.
He said he was going to secure the border so we don't have strangers and unknowns coming in our country that may pose a danger. He has done that. That is a good thing.
Tim, at the okay. I'm not going to listen. You know better. Stop it. Be quiet. ICE is taking down people that are citizens. They're taking down people that are documented. They have papers to be here. Not he specifically, but on his orders. Tim, stop.
Okay, hold on. Hang on.
Talking to you about a second ago.
Hold on. There isn't, when I say Trump is securing the border and you refer to ICE, there is a difference between securing the southern border and what's going on in Chicago or Portland. What ICE is doing is...
Go ahead.
I'm talking about securing the border. I'm not talking about mass deportations. That's something different. ICE in Chicago is not securing the border.
But whose directive is it? Who's the man at the head that gives the orders?
Tom Homan
Who's
or
the man
Trump?
responsible? Huh?
I mean, you got Tom Homan is doing what they're doing in the inner cities, but Kristi Noem is what's on Homeland Security. So Kristi Noem is securing the border.
Who's their boss? Who's their boss? Who's their boss?
Trump.
Okay, then he's doing it. He's setting the agenda. You can't. They're not doing it by themselves. She wouldn't have a job without him. Neither would this other dude. So no, he choosing people to execute his wishes. So okay, let's move on because
wait a minute. Before we move on, let me make it clear. My relatives in Chicago who are liberal to African Americans, liberal, they're favoring. I got relatives I talked to today that says not only are they happy that Trump is getting these folks out because they're all over the place laying around, but they even said that the building that was raided that everybody's talking about with the Black Hawk helicopter, apparently the neighbors have been complaining about that building. There are plenty of folks on YouTube and on social media in Chicago, African Americans, that are saying what Trump is doing is what they actually wanted, and because Biden was lapsed at the border.
I got complaints with my neighbors. Does that mean I get to call ICE on them and have a raid?
Is your neighbors here illegally?
Come on, Tim. And okay, one's a registered sex offender. Anyway, so Snowbird 7. I'm not bashing the right, Miss or Mr. whoever you are. I just don't agree with taking away the rights of people in America. That I'm not.
What if they're here illegally?
Okay, what is the difference? Okay, what I question these people is, do you know the difference between undocumented and documented?
Yes.
No, you do, Tim, because you're a smart man. I'm not asking you. I'm asking these other people. Do you know the difference between what a person is when they're documented or undocumented? Coming over and seeking asylum, you're automatically a documented immigrant.
Not anymore.
Sneaking over, well, exactly. sneaking over and not going through that process, yes, you're undocumented. The majority of workers on farms where they pack your meat, you wonder why, where they do all the things that Americans don't want to do because the work is hard. And let's just face it, I don't want to pick strawberries. Do you?
I'm watching.
Do you want to?
You make a good point. I'm watching a video the other day, and they were talking about exactly what you're talking about. They showed immigrants out there working in the fields. They're picking up watermelons that are growing in the ground, and they're throwing them to each other. There's a guy on the truck up there catching them. So I'm like, these motherfuckers are throwing and slinging watermelons all day. There's no way in hell I want to do that.
Some suburban kid that's going to a private school that his parents for is going to be like, hey, Mom, when I grow up, I want to work on a farm.
Hey,
nobody ever fucking says that. No. Just stop it.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. They're not. We've been living and eating off the backs of documented immigrants since forever.
I will say this,
They built the railroads. The Chinese, they built the railroads. The black people, they built the White House. We built everything.
So how about this? Sterlo in the comments said, if you want to do that, then so bring in workers legally on a needed basis. So if you need those folks to work,
that is okay. Again, this is where I wonder where the intelligence is of people. I lived in California for a brief time. There's these things called migrant farms. These people are here legally only to work on farms, not to go and work at the bank. They live in horrible deconditions. Yeah. Yes, and they're brought here because teenagers don't want to pick berries anymore. Nobody knows how to. I don't know how to trim or help with avocados. Do you, Tim? I haven't. I don't know how. I don't know how to work.
I went to school so I wouldn't have to deal with that shit.
Huh?
I said I went to school so I wouldn't have to deal with that shit. I'm not gonna do that kind of labor.
And that is exactly what I'm trying to say. These people, human beings in America don't understand that when they go to a grocery store, somebody was working probably 10, 12 hours a day from a different country that were here documented, which means you're legal to do that for you. If you're upset about that, I'm sorry. I'm not ready to go kill my own food and gut it. I'm spoiled. Yeah. I go to a store. So until everybody's willing to go and kill their own food and gut it and clean it and do all those things, shut the fuck up.
I can't argue.
Just shut the fuck up.
And I do agree with
anyway,
you that most Americans are not trying to do those menial jobs.
Yeah. Then, if you want to grow your own food and raise your own protein, by God, do it if you have the land. But you know what? You can't do that in the city. You definitely can't do it in the suburbs because HOA is not having that.
Right.
So, nobody understands, even if you are poor in America, you are still privileged compared to what other people are going through.
For now, as America is starting to devolve. For now.
I will go. I'm going to say something about what I heard. Earlier about the ceasefire. One, I have zero trust in Netanyahu. Because if he has peace, he faces corruption trial.
It's a good point.
It's not good for him.
That's a good point.
The people of Israel were protesting him for years prior to October 7th.
So you believe he may be keeping the conflict going to save his own skin?
I won't say I believe that he's doing that. I believe he's benefiting. Let's put it that way. But Netanyahu does not believe that Palestinians are truly Palestinians. He doesn't even believe anything of Palestine. He believes it's all part of, Israel. Yeah. And when we have Zionists and Christian nationalists in our government who are supporting this because they believe that the temple will be rebuilt and Jesus comes again, that is not helping one America. It's definitely not helping the people of the world. It's a Christian nationalist Zionist agenda.
Let me ask you, you mentioned, what do you think of that term Christian nationalist? What is your opinion of Christian nationalists?
A Christian nationalist is a person that believes, let's just say it's basically Christianity parallel to Sharia law.
Yeah.
Like, do you want a Christian nation where you're forced to do things? Would you want to live in a Muslim nation or Islamic nation where you're forced to do things? Christian nationalism is believing, women are inferior. They have their own job. We're going backwards, man. Basically governing on a religious agenda versus a
democracy.
Even just normal politics at this point. Just normal politics, normal, world.
I get your point. Yeah, I get
you know
your
what
point.
I'm saying?
I actually agree with you. I got to move it on. You kind of got wind in the background, but I said the same thing that I said the same thing that the far right and the Taliban have a lot in common because it's just a different religion. But you're right when you say Sharia law, it's the same thing. Our religion is going to kind of intertwine and be the law of the land, just like the Taliban. The religion is the law of the land.
There's no difference between Christian nationalism and Sharia law. And if anybody disagrees with me, look it up. Look up what Pete Hegseth wants. Look up what Steve Miller wants. Look up what some of these people want. If you put them in brown skin and a different type of outfit, and have all their girlfriends in a gosh dang hijab, it doesn't look any different.
Wow. All right, Arsha, I got to drop you because you got a lot of wind in the background, but your point is well taken.
I know, I'm going to the gym. I'm outside. So thanks for letting me on, though. It's always good to see you. You're looking fly, as usual. Yeah.
Catch you later. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Love you, buddy.
You too. All right, and by the way, I actually agree with her. I know my beloved MAGA is going to disagree with this, but I do believe that the Taliban is a far-right organization. And like she mentioned, Sharia law is far-right. And I do believe that if you get too far into any religion, it becomes very similar. And I can see the similarities in Christian nationalism. I mean, let's just be clear. When you look at far-right nations, think about some of the things, and I'm talking about any religion, Muslims, whatever, but far-right is going to be things like banning the LGBTQ. You don't think that the far-right would ban them if they had a chance? Pro-life is the only way. Women do not have a choice in the matter. That's what you get in far-right countries, like I mentioned, the Taliban and shit like that. Well, the Christian nationalists are going to agree with that as well. When it comes to teaching kids in schools, in the Taliban, everything's going to be in the kids in school are going to learn about their religion from day one. Christian nationalists want to put Christianity in schools. I gotta agree with her. I know some folks are just going to disagree with me. I agree with her is that there are a host of parallels between Sharia law or far right stuff like the Taliban and Christian nationalism. There are a lot of parallels. Women are what do you want to call it? Marginalized. Women are marginalized. There's a hierarchy in religious environments. In most cases, men are viewed as a hierarchy over women. Taliban, Christianity, same thing. Same thing in that case. They just view a different God than Christians do. But a lot of the way they behave, there's a lot of similarities in there. A lot of similarities. You're talking about the way the Taliban punishes folks, open air executions, doing it outside. Charlie Kirk even said we need to bring back public executions. What do you think the Taliban's doing? Same shit. There are a host of similarities. You can marry girls younger. A lot of Christian nationalists believe we should reduce the age of marriage. There are a ton of similarities between Christian nationalism, Sharia law, or like the Taliban or some far right, some far right religious movement. There's a lot. I mean, it's like I agree with her. It's almost no different, other than the God you're worshiping. Other than the God, I mean, you don't see the Christian nationalists talking about you're going to get 77 virgins or nothing like that. But for the most part, there's a lot of similarities. As a woman, you're going to get treated very similar under the Christian religion if it goes too far to the right, as you would under the Sharia law, where in Sharia law, women can't drive, they can't open up a business. You go back far enough in America and women couldn't open up a business, they couldn't have a checking account. Very similar. The similarities are all over the place. Whether you want to agree with it or not, whether you don't see it, whether you see it or not, that's one thing. But if we become a far right Christian nation, women are going to be marginalized. Same thing with minorities. Now in America, minority could mean Black or Hispanic or Native American. Over in Afghanistan somewhere, there's a different definition of who a minority is. But even still, in a far right Christian or religious based society, the minorities don't get treated as equal. That's another thing that's very common in very far right religious communities. The women get marginalized, and so do minority communities. There is no equality in a far right religious country. There is no such thing as equality. There's hierarchy everywhere. Men rank supreme, the majority rank supreme. There's all sorts of hierarchies in it. So it's not based on equality. Like I said, the LGBT community, all that shit is over with. All of that stuff is over with. And discipline is off the chain. Discipline is off the chain, up to and including, as I mentioned, possibility of public executions and stuff like that. The discipline is off the chain. How do you feel about marginalized minorities? I think it's a bad thing. I think anybody that tries to operate from any standpoint that does not view everybody as equal is a bad thing. I just do, because what the people who are treated as less than equal, God knows what's being done to them. Are they being oppressed and forced to work? Are they being sexually assaulted? Are they being, what are they being used for? But yeah, I don't favor any environment that views anybody as less than equal. Real quick, Handsome Stubby Finger said, Tim, watch out when Killer Mike comes on, also known as Mike Myers. She's going to lay it down hard. He is the best at this, so listen to him. If I see Mike Killer, if I see him, I'll bring him up there. Stubby Fingers, I'll certainly do that. Looking in the comments, though, God gives freedom of choice. There is no religion where you get that. I don't buy that. God gives you freedom of choice, but the people that are worshiping God and writing the laws do not give you freedom of choice. Most far-right religious societies, freedom of choice is not there. It's just not. You're going to lose freedom of choice for all sorts of things. Freedom of choice is not there. Go learn about the Middle East and religion before you talk about something you know nothing about, says Little Plaques. I think I know enough about this. I don't think I need to go, as you say, learn about the Middle East. I'm pretty certain in far-right, heavily religious countries, most of the stuff I just said, if not all of it, is true. Maybe you should take your own advice in this one. That's just my opinion, but I appreciate your input. People are not very forgiving. That's the American way in this country, but I don't know. We never have been very forgiving. That's why we want people to stay in prison forever, and we have never been very forgiving. Looking in the comments though, how do you feel about Chris Stevens? What are you talking about? What about Chris Stevens? If you aren't knowledgeable of politics, whatever they say, do the opposite, you should be fine. If, with emphasis on if, that is allowed. You may not be allowed to do the opposite. You sound like you're ready to give up your freedom, says early cheer, whatever. No, we're not ready to give up the freedoms, but I can understand when the goal is to take them away. I absolutely believe that President Trump is after some of our freedoms. Now, the right disagrees with me. Like I said, I got a video on YouTube titled 5 Freedoms You Will Lose Under President Trump. And it's aging very well. The video's about maybe 2 months old. And a lot of the stuff that I suggested a lot more has happened to verify and cement what I'm talking about. I talked about the freedom of speech. The Jimmy Kimmel thing hadn't even happened yet, where President Trump is talking about Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and Seth Meyers should be taken off the air because they don't speak favorably of him, and people that have a broadcast license that don't speak favorably of him should lose their broadcast license. That hadn't even happened yet. And then comes that. It's pretty clear Trump does not want the American public to be able to speak freely in regards to him. If you're criticizing him, he would rather you be silenced in some sort of fashion. If you got a newspaper that you own and you're speaking negative, he would rather that stuff go away. He would rather be able to make that stuff go away. I think that's pretty clear. But there's a lot more to freedom of speech, because freedom of speech includes the right to freedom of religion, press, assembly, and there's one more in there. And the reason why I'm bringing them all up, because all of this is under freedom of speech. The reason why I'm bringing them all up is because Trump is finagling with all of them. Freedom of assembly and freedom of press. That's, for freedom of assembly is you being able to assemble and hold a protest. What is Trump doing? He's targeting colleges and universities where there are protests at. I mean, he's made it clear. He's called Antifa now a terrorist outfit. Probably BLM may be next. If there's a BLM protest during his presidency and you got some sort of a riot that takes place in St. Louis or in Chicago somewhere, that'll probably lead to BLM all over the country being deemed as a terrorist outfit. Because Antifa, who Trump is deemed as a terrorist, they haven't been really causing any ruckus all over the country like that. You got to go back 5 years to even find anything during the George Floyd protest. So BLM will probably be next. So freedom of assembly, your ability to riot, Trump is targeting. Freedom of press, a whole bunch of angles, such as demanding that you have your questions cleared by the Pentagon before you can even ask them. Demanding that networks be taken off the air like CBS and NBC. Freedom of press, he's targeted in all sorts of ways. So freedom of assembly, freedom of press. I'm not 100% sure yet on freedom of religion yet. He hasn't done anything, but they're targeting Sharia law and things like that. It's going. I mean, if Trump gets his way, it's going to be a Christian-based country via law. So freedom of religion, I'm not going to attribute that to him yet, but it's more than likely to happen. And then there's one more that's my mind is not thinking of right now, but virtually every aspect of the First Amendment President Trump is targeting. Press, assembly, religion. I mean, obviously flag burning is another one that they ruled is a freedom of speech right, and he said he wants to give you a year in prison for that. So that's another. I mean, there's so many aspects of freedom of speech that Trump is targeting. It's hard to claim that he is not at the freedom of speech. At this point, it's impossible to suggest that he's not at the freedom of speech unless you deliberately close your eyes and pretend like you're blind. He's all over that. Now, I also mentioned the Fourth Amendment, which is freedom of, freedom against unwarranted searches and seizures, where they can't just, police can't just walk up to you if you ain't done nothing wrong and start fucking with you. I made the video, and then damn sure that the Supreme Court then ruled that they could stop you based on your skin color, language, and where you're located at. The video is aging well. I'm just going to tell you, the video is aging well. 5 rights you'll lose under Trump. I'm not even going to go into the other 3. And I also gave 2 honorable mentions. And everything I've pointed out in that video is starting to come true. So if you ever get to the Handsome Liberal on YouTube, look through my long form videos maybe 10 minutes or something like that. But 5 rights you'll lose under Trump. And it's really aging well. It really is. Looking in the comments, people got to stop using AI chat bots to think smart. They're getting dumber because of that stuff. AI is getting frightening. AI is beginning to get frightening. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 104,000. Appreciate that. I do got to get up and work like the rest of everybody else do. But I do appreciate the 104,000. And I haven't solicited you guys to tap the screen lately, but nevertheless, it is your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I'm going to ask that you follow the program as I always do. We're here generally Monday through Friday. And certainly if you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. But until then, you guys take care. I am out. Got to go to bed. Catch you tomorrow. Thank you folks that are watching also on That happens every time I log out on TikTok. But